steps of their adventure, or more or less misadventure as things have gone so far. Your team has figured out a few things here and there. Milo, you can go, honestly, now, I think, to the underground and collect the information you have, or at least are objective to get. But before that, you guys did find one marigold. An individual that is more or less, what would you say, stabbing prone? Well, regardless of how you would say that, an interesting person. You also know that they themselves have a bounty on their head, roughly 200 gold, in the finding their location and helping, ensnare them and bringing them back to face justice or whatever the weird man that went around asking short people that information about. You guys know where she is. You sent her in the direction of the sea shanty, the very nice bar area in the harbor district. It itself has the best food in town. Not really an inn, but it does have an empty storage room/room up on the second floor. With this information in tow, you guys basically said, "Hey, you can check this place out. Maybe they'll let you in there for like something." Definitely cheap. You remember that much, but you can still betray them. That has never not been an option, but I'm just letting you guys know that now. In the meantime, Aster, you did revoke your honeybee card. You still have like a whole bunch of blank ones, but do with that what you may. I believe Milo and Yoko still have theirs, but at this point in time, they are no longer. No, it's still within the same day. They are still active, at least for the next couple of hours. And this is where we left off. Oh yeah, and there's a whole bunch of good stuff down there, but you gotta have no cash anymore because you bought a lot of stuff. Expensive things.
Okay, so quick question. You said the cards are still active. Does that mean they'll like deactivate if we don't do something with them today?
From what you can
and
tell,
be worthless?
You were basically given temporary cards. You can imply whatever that means, but like at a game, in game, you see the cards deteriorate, go black. Something of that nature might happen. Like it's not that hard to figure that out. Like you, as yourselves and characters, could discern that something happens, or like when they look at it, they observe that it's no longer functional or it has an expiration date. You're not entirely sure in game, but you have a general feeling that it'll probably change into like the black form, indicating already expired or used.
Okay.
Again, you don't really know what these things are, but yeah, probably a good guess. In game, you check your card, still golden. What do you guys do?
I guess I'll go
let's
get
do-
my information.
I'll head back that way too.
Getting information. All right.
So, how much money do we actually have? Like, cause
in
I'm
the
still
party pod, I think, not a lot anymore.
263 gold.
No, it got diminished because.
Well,
Milo
that's what the
spent some of
notes
that.
say, but I don't think they were updated because we did spend from that.
Yeah.
No.
I want to say like 50 gold left, because the last tally was my mark, and then Milo was able to thankfully get on after a good night's sleep. Day sleep. Yeah. So I want to say 50 gold in the party pot and whatever you guys have remaining in your own pockets. And then those are the cards themselves that Aster used to pay for one of his things.
I use my own card.
Yes.
That's why I probably have more money than you. actually. Nerds.
I have no money.
At any rate, Milo, we should get that information you were wanting and be on our way.
Yeah, what is our plan?
At the point in time, you guys were just looking into information on Milo's side of the field to locate why, and for whatever reason, Aquas was being more or less helped by this kingdom. I'm gonna say, like, at a game, you could probably easily figure that one out, and even in game, you could probably easily enough figure that one out as long as you were paying attention.
To be honest, I don't really remember much since it's been so long.
It's fine. It was like part of the only backstory you gave me in the beginning before Milo turned into a halfling.
Ah, yes, spontaneous halfling combustion.
I mean, he's always been a halfling, but yeah.
I mean, the previous character. I think you were. I honestly forget what Milo was originally.
Yeah, I forget too.
It was a while ago. Almost a month now that I think about it. But returning back down here, you come back to the man in charge on your information. If you remember his name, it's perfectly fine if you don't. In fact, it's probably a pseudonym anyways. But coming back to him, he then states towards you, Milo. All right then, come back to get your information, have you? It has been about 24 hours. He looks towards you, looks towards your companions. He like waves over someone, and like you see someone just pass you by, bump into you, and like there's documents on the ground.
Say that again, sorry?
Basically, thieves, things, people moving about. You notice that the papers are on the ground, and you don't see who did that.
I'll pick him up.
You pick them up, and you do find a whole bunch of assortment paperwork documenting trade dealings, a whole bunch of numbers. In fact, if you were an accountant, this would make sense. If you're not, it would not. But it does deal with trade patterns, trade routes, systematic shifts in cargo, what goes in and what goes out of each kingdom. And then there's a separate layer and section where it has like all of that marked in red, but with same numbers. But some of them are like vague suggestions indicating maybe secret routes or like paths untaken or not exactly taken due to potential hazards in the area. It does seem like they're monopolizing the entire situation of the paths taken. In order to get like cargo from Xian, Zeno has been basically forcing everyone to go through Escara, which is the continent and kingdom you guys are currently in. So from what you can tell and in these documents, at least what Milo can tell, if you had an accountant, different story. You can discern that they are basically forcing people to pay the tolls through Escara, but also secretly moving cargo through the area of the waterways, or at least getting closer to the waterways, further into the kingdom of... Man, we changed the name, but in my notes it has Mortania still. It could just honestly be Mortania, and I just forgot.
Yeah, I don't think we changed it
on
much.
I think you changed one name on the map, so it should be changed there if you forgot.
Mortania. So it does seem like they're leading cargo through that secret section, as well as basically forcing everyone to not get near it. So this is accidental help from Escara to Aquas. It benefits them both, but in the end, they only really care about themselves. It's not like some secret trade deal.
It's not technically help. It's just happening as a byproduct.
It's happening as a byproduct, yeah. Again, there's other stuff that if you're an accountant, you can tell or figure this one out. But you can discern that they're also smuggling things through. They're forcing people to pay and go through the tolls instead of going around in the water or in other sections of the paths. So they basically get a. It all looks documented and well written. So some of this is legal. They're basically getting paid in twofold. One, probably by the government to do this, and the other getting their own money and basically going around the toll sections so they can just like do shady business and dealings. This is all for profit. They profit on forcing people to go through the tolls, and they profit on not going through the tolls themselves and going through these lines.
Alright.
Yeah. The only other thing you can tell are those like portions and sections where it's written in red that just have like numbers. If you have to guess, it's like a cipher or something. You're not entirely sure, honestly. Does anyone have the thief background?
Nope.
Then that's as best as you're gonna get it.
Fine.
Yeah. I would accept thief or... Damn, I think one of you might have this. Thief or noble?
I have noble.
Milo, do you show your companion the notes?
Not right now. Not out here.
That's fair.
I'll wait till we get to a place where we can rest and figure out where we're going next. Because, I mean, I basically have my information that the reason I was sent here. So, for, like, official reasons. But we don't have the money I need to buy the information for the other stuff, so...
Yeah, that's fair. Looking towards you, Zeno does state, we're done here? Or are you going to purchase something else?
No, we're done right now. Or at least I am.
Alright. Whenever you feel like you want to purchase something as well, more than welcome to come back down here. Although this time at a different fee. It's very difficult to get this kind of information very freely. Had to expend many of my resources to do so. You can tell he's lying. Probably.
Right. Have a good day.
You as well. You like step to the side away from him more than likely. At least not interacting with him anymore. This guy is just moving so I can move you guys further to the south. Where do you guys go now? Again, you have the golden cards, so you can maybe barter with those. You can also head out, see what Marigold's up to, head out and see at the Lucky Duck what the other guy's doing. Maybe visit another gambling establishment. There's the temple, there's the school again, there's the harbor, there's just going into the woods and see what happens. Last time you did that, you technically just killed the Minotaur. There's the open air market.
I mean, we need to figure out what we're gonna be doing, because if I'm done here, we need to, and if we're short on some cash, we need to look for some work, air quote work. So,
do you guys go back to like a bar or your inn? I think you still have the rooms until tonight when it expires and you have to pay again.
I would like
Who's at
to actually...
the weapon shop?
Currently?
Yeah.
It's not the companion that you... Oh, wait, that happens tomorrow. It's still technically the same day. It's the Oni that you met the other day. John.
The nearsighted one?
No,
No,
that was
Bob.
Bob. He's the armor. Blacksmith. John's the Oni that basically cut you a good amount of deals here and there. Bob was nearsighted, so things happen with his equipment. Either good or bad, but very cheap. But yeah, John has yet to change shifts. with the guy that's coming in tomorrow. It's more or less late in the day, so whatever you intend to do now, you can definitely do it. Heading over there, John looks towards you. Oh, it hasn't even been like half a day. Can I help you with something, miss?
Yes, I'd like to buy that sword you showed me the other day. Well, earlier.
Which one? I have a lot of them in here.
The one I identified.
Oh, all right. Opening my notes. You're talking about the chain one, right?
Yeah.
Looking at the price tag now, newly minted because, well, you just couldn't say no to identifying. Got paid 10 gold for it, though. Where are you? I literally just had you. Oh, for the life of me, I can't find it anymore. Do you remember what it is?
Yeah, I do.
Do you mind telling me? Because I can't find it currently. I know it was not an actual sword. It was a makeshift blade weapon that did the properties of the wand. But I can't remember where it is. Oh, wait, here. The Sword of Binding. Looking towards you and towards the weapon, they bring it out, and they simply state, again, you told me what it is already. Normally it's 10,000 gold, but I think since, I don't know, probably not a lot of people have this, 8,000 gold. Well, not have this, but want this. I don't know, it's like some weird fetish thing, probably.
I'll give you this for it. And Yoko holds out the card to him.
Yeah, you're gonna need about 8 of those.
No, I think this is sufficient.
That is a lot of going down money value-wise. Go ahead and roll persuasion. Like, I would have given it to you for like maybe an 18, 19, and 20. But an 11's not gonna cut it. He does state, look, miss, you seem nice and all. I'm willing to cut it down to maybe like 5,000. But, 1,000, that's not gonna cut it.
Yes, I think I may have misunderstood the spell when I was casting it, the results it gave me.
Roll deception. And since you've already tried to undercut him with disadvantage. Well, I'm sure I can get someone to actually identify it properly. Suffice to say, if you're not up to the task, I can always set it to the side, and when I get it properly identified by an actual merchantry, well, the next guy can do it. I'll just leave a note for them, and you can buy it from them tomorrow.
How about this? How about you exchange it for one of those cards, and we don't let it slip that you almost let it go for a lot less than even that.
I don't really care.
No, but I'm sure your bosses will.
Temp. I can get fired all I want.
I think getting fired would be the least of your worries, no?
Not really. Not my job. The person that, gets in trouble is the guy after me. I'm free to do what I want.
Even if it costs them that much money. I'd
Yeah.
be interested in seeing how they react to that.
Oh, but very poorly. Which is why I'm one of the Don's bodyguards. I'm honestly just here to show face, sell you some things. If things go awry, it's the next guy's problem. And they have to find a way to balance the checkbook, as it will.
Well, then why do you care how much the weapon is sold for?
This guy had prices in their books. He showed you the books. Some things didn't have prices. You told me a price. I'm going to stick to it since you seem so adamant on it. Then now you want it for less of that. So...
Wait, I never told him a price.
You did.
No, we just told you what it was. Told you what it did.
And what is it worth?
I never told him what it was worth.
Oh, right. You didn't tell him what it was worth, but he looked it up. Technically. Because he did tell you later on, during that same conversation, it was worth 10,000 gold. Unfortunately. So it implies him looking it up later on. But he does state, look, I don't really care, but I'm not trying to ruffle some feathers. Let's say bring it down to 4,500, 4,500. I'm sure the guy after me can figure out a way to balance that out.
When does this new individual come in?
Sometime tomorrow. A lot nicer. Halfling fellow. He goes by... looking at my notes. Oh, that's a weird name. Frumpel Tiddlewee. Tittlewy. Can't say that properly. Frontal. Nice enough guy. We'll sell you, your friend there, and everyone else for about 10 gold. You can probably barter with him far easier than me. Or can't. I forget how that works. He's basically a call man.
This isn't adding up here. You say you don't care about this job on one moment, and then the next you are a hard ass about the price.
Look, I don't care about the job, but I'm still gonna do the job to the best of my ability. It's like working a job you don't care for, but you still work the job.
Proposition for you.
That being?
Why don't you forget the price about it for a moment, let it go for its original, and we'll be back and we'll cut you half of it when we manage to sell it for proper.
I'm pretty sure
I don't
you're
wanna sell
lying,
it.
Aster. Oh, never mind. Never mind. I was about to say roll deception, but that kind of worked out on its own. Aster, go ahead and roll deception with a disadvantage. Damn, that's pretty good. Looking at this, he does pay attention to Yoko's vocal patterns. Like, look, I don't want to sell it. And Aster's like, we'll sell it. John more or less believes you, Aster, than the person that like told him what it's worth, tried to undermine him, and then tried to again undermine his work ethic, technically. So Aster, he's more upfront with you and thus state, look, I'll bring it down again, but at this point, I am just being nice to you, so you leave. 2,000 gold and it's yours. At this point, I just want you to go. You can sell it or not and come back with the money or not. He went down a lot.
Yoroko, how much do you really want this thing?
Well, I haven't seen anything like it before, and I think it could be useful if we end up fighting stuff that doesn't really sword fight.
I'll pull out 1 gold card and 500 gold.
Are you trying to undermine him again? Undercut him again?
A little bit, yeah. But also, I don't feel like these are quite... I feel like there's a little bit of a flux in their price. I feel like 1,000 is upper, but it's not all the way.
That's possible.
And I'll throw in a black card, too, to make it... whatever that they're worth.
At this point, it's no longer disadvantage, but just a flat roll. So go ahead and roll persuasion. Like, you put down a card, you put down a black card, and you put down 500 gold. You can tell he's frustrated, but not to the point of like not taking your money, because he's gonna take your money. He takes the card, immediately turns black. The black card itself stays and remains the same. Takes 500 gold, puts it in a box. The box itself is like intricate, veiled with various magical insignias and marks, and then just like pushes the blade towards you, Aster. Look, at this point, I just wanted you to leave.
The first gone.
Yeah. Wait, didn't you already give me your card?
Semantics.
I don't care enough for this. Alright. Aster, technically maybe Yoko, you now have the Sword of Binding, which is just a flavored wand of binding. It's a wand / sword, rare, requires attunement to a spellcaster. You can honestly look this up. I think it might be in the compendium because it's in the Dungeon Master Guide. So you should technically be able to look it up. I'm gonna check.
Yeah, I see it as the wand of binding. Yeah.
Yes. But it's a blade instead.
Yeah. Like a long sword, or
I was honestly going to just make it a sword, and sword implies sword of choosing of holder.
okay.
It's just a nice magical weapon that I thought could be cool in its sword form.
I'll take it and flourish it a few times before handing it over to Yuriko.
Okay. When you begin to flourish it, there's like phantom chains around you forming, and then when you finish off the flourish, it like reverberates back into the hilt of the blade itself. And you hand it over. Man, if it wasn't a temp, you probably wouldn't have gotten it solo. Should have bought it the first time. Oh well.
Yes, I know.
He was trying to correct a RP mistake he feels, I think.
I know. But I was also more or less trying to be a criminal. So sorry if I was a hard ass there. Milo, what are you doing?
Just waiting. Probably gonna head back to the room and wait for them because really don't have any interest in anything here.
That's fair. As you wander by or around, you do see Birch just talking with more criminals. He like waves at you, but other than that, he doesn't really interact with you. You guys currently are underneath the Lucky Duck Casino, so when you go back up, you do encounter that one green Oni fellow that was looking for Marigold. He doesn't seem to spot you. You spot him first beforehand, so you can honestly just leave before you actually ever have to interact with him.
I actually want to interact with him.
Okay. I'm just gonna bring you to the lucky duck then. I think you guys are technically already there, so I'm just gonna move you and then change things around.
Thank you for your help with that, Aster. I'll try and make it up to you sometime.
Looking forward to it.
As you make your way up to the top surface, technically you can come down here without Olivia Myers' help anymore. So she's technically still in her office. You do hear like a scream and a cry of people, but that's typical of when people begin to cheat. But you do find Tone very, very not far away from the door, but far enough that they aren't currently viewing you. So if you decided to just wander around and leave without speaking to him, you definitely can. All of you are able to see him. I'm going to say, Milo, you technically have a chance to interact if you decide to, way before anyone else.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm just gonna wander towards the door, waiting for them to.
All right. As you wait by the door to make sure everyone's around, Yoko, Aster soon follow, maybe 10 or so minutes afterwards. Soon enough, you guys also see Tone just alone playing like solitaire. It's not gambling, it's honestly just him being bored, waiting for anyone he combed through the city to come and see and maybe get contact with him. Aster, as you move over there, Tone just states, "Oh, it's you again. Have you found anything?"
I might have something for you. Well, actually, no, sorry. I need to set the chords myself. DM, what's a relatively... I'm not saying that I plan to, like, murder him and leave him in the street, but if someone was going to do something like that, where would be a good place for that sort of thing?
Definitely not the temple. Let me look at...
Is there like a poorly patrolled dock ward or something of the sort?
There is the forest area, like a few yards coming out of town. You know where you guys technically killed the good guys?
Yeah.
There's that section that you know of already. There are back alleyways near the open air market that people don't really traverse. There's honestly a dock area that you can like push the body and it sinks into dark waters. And you can just look around, honestly. Honestly, though, if you bring them downstairs and kill them, it's a den of criminals. I don't think anyone's gonna report you. Although, if someone like wants something, they might. So, entirely up to you what to do. But yeah, the docks, you can definitely push them into dark waters. Underground, the Lucky Duck Casino, if you want to venture it in a den of criminals. There is the outskirts of the forest area before entering into the city, and like back alley streets in the open air market.
And I think I've got her trail. If you want to meet me by the docks around midnight, I should be able to take you to her.
Roll deception. He has no current necessity to. No, he wouldn't. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're deceiving. But since he doesn't know you fairly well, it's just going to be a flat roll. I always forget. You roll very good with deception. Tone looks towards you. All right. As long as you're there, I'm more than willing to wait. My companions are coming in tomorrow morning, so should be fine.
I would like to point out that was not necessarily a lie.
Not necessarily a lie, true. But you...
My words were, I could lead you there. Not that I would, I could.
Yeah, not necessarily a lie, but it's phrased in a way that is not the truth.
No, I'm well aware.
Okay. But he does agree to meet you in the middle of the night at the docks. Maybe to propose. Who's to say?
I'll
but yeah.
just wordlessly get up and head out after that.
All right. Give me a second. I need to roll something. You honestly can do what you want. I'm just rolling a few things. Okay. Carry on. Meeting by the doorway, Yoko, Milo, and Aster, you return backwards. Returning back, I think Milo wanted to go back to the room they still have, at least for a few moments. Oops, it is not the sea shanty, it is the hourglass you guys are currently staying in. Without too much of an issue, you return back to the more or less waiting room you guys have for the next couple of hours. In about 2 hours, though, you will be more or less unceremoniously kicked out, unless you decide to pay for another night.
Before we left, though, I wanted to find like a roulette table or something to use my gold token on.
Oh, yeah. You go to the roulette table and you give them the gold token. The gentleman in the back then states, "Very good, miss." They hand you what appears to be the equivalent of 100 gold chips. Red or black?
Black.
All right. We're basically just gonna play evens and odds, Yoko. So tell me how much you put in.
All of it.
Okay. So, do you choose evens or odds? You then roll a d6, and if you get evens, you win. If you get odds, you lose, or if you choose the other way around.
Odds.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a d6. Wow. Lucky. When it spins and goes to black odds, the gentleman in the back then states, "Winner, winner, chicken dinner." Then hands you the 100 chips back, and then an additional 25 chips. Would you like to play again?
Yes.
Evens or odds?
Odds.
Roll your d6. Ah, darn it. All in or just some? I forgot to...
Yeah, all in.
Technically, if you go all in, he took it from you. You could have lied, Yoko.
Yeah, I know. But I was planning on going all in anyway.
That's fair. Sorry for not saying it earlier, though. They just look towards you. Unfortunately, you have busted. Would you like to put in any other money?
Nope, that's all.
Have a nice day, miss.
Have fun with your wheel.
He nods. Not really sure if that's a euphemism for anything, but you eventually leave. I honestly thought you were just going to take the chips and then cash out.
I probably should have.
It's fine.
That's not the point of a casino.
That's technically true. But you return back to the waiting room a few hours before you technically have to leave. But returning back, what do you guys do?
How much was it to rent this room here?
It wasn't expensive, but it was, I believe, 10 gold for the lot of you. Which is a lot, honestly, I'm not going to lie. But for adventurers, you can definitely do that.
I'll pay for another night.
I'll cash out my 100 gold token just before I leave.
Cash
and I'm
out.
going to take the money.
Okay, you have 100 gold. No, Aster, we've done this before. In fact, I did terrible gambling with you. I think you won a couple, so I think you now have 125 gold. Because I think you won last time. Yeah, it's all coming back to me now. I did terrible blackjack with you.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
You did
Okay,
win
I
though,
do remember
so you
blackjack.
have 125 gold.
I forgot about bad blackjack.
I'm trying to figure out how they stay in business if they essentially give everyone that comes in 100 gold on their first time.
They're a front.
They're a front.
It's like asking how those dry cleaners stay in business. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, unfortunately true. Maybe. You know they're a front. You went down, you saw the black market area where they're clearly making a lot of money, selling stuff that was likely stolen. I'm not saying your stuff's stolen. Some of your stuff isn't stolen. It was made in front of your eyes. Yoko might have stolen stuff. Maybe Milo as well. Other story altogether. But Milo is currently, let's say, asleep on the sill. Yoko, you pay for the next following night. That does include meals anytime you want in the day, the rooms you guys are currently in, and like any other commodities you might desire. It also includes like room service, so if like you need a massage or junk like that. It's technically an option. Technically. Basically, you guys can ask for information on any of the bellhops that come by.
Yoko will just order some tea for room service and retire to her room for the night.
Fair. It doesn't take long for the tea to come by. It does come in. The gentleman that's currently working the night shift looks towards you and presents you a nice chamomile tea for a nice, enjoyable night. Here you are, miss. If you need anything else, just let me know. My name is Ramon. I'll be happy to serve you tonight. Just ring the bell by your bed, and I'll come as soon as possible.
That would be all. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm gonna do this. He looks more or less miffed, but he does leave. No gratuity was given.
Well, she's gonna close the door on him after dismissing him.
Yeah.
So
He leaves, and you like close the door behind him. He was gonna close it himself, but he's not getting a tip from Yoko. That's for sure. Aster, what do you do?
I'm gonna wait until the night dies down a little bit, then I'm gonna go to Yoko and Milo and get them all together in a room just so I can talk to them both at the same time.
All right, this is probably before Yoko leaves.
Yeah, Milo's currently moking by the window, reading through the paperwork, trying to understand it more.
Looking through the documents. Yeah, I'm gonna give you a chance. Go ahead and roll investigation.
I can't. I had to step away from the computer, but
I will roll investigation. That's 22. I did real good. Based on the documents at hand, you can tell that some of the book numbers do indicate, yes, they're forcing people to take the paid toll roads. Another portion does state, yes, they're blocking off the waterway section so they can smuggle things from that portion of the area. But another portion, the red marks, you can tell that those seem to be sections where you can basically bypass a lot of the legal ways, but they do seem to be unsafe. Some of them do seem to indicate like hauntings, others seem to indicate like dangerous terrain, others seem to show like potential wildlife endangerment sections. Either that means like they're trying to preserve those animals, or the animals are trying to eat them. You can more or less tell it's probably the latter than the former.
Mm-hmm.
But it does seem to show that there's a lot of stuff there you might be able to find if you go searching for that, but they seem to not go that way due to potential danger.
Mm-hmm.
But over the course of the information you have, you can tell that they make a lot of legal tender by doing all of this, and a lot of illegal tender by bypassing a lot of paperwork. Overall, when Yoko mentions this, like, how do they stay in business when they like give 100 gold to people that just come in there that are new? It's a front. You can straight up tell by the documents. Jen Michaels, quite literally, is not the leader of the honeybees in the city, but he is a lieutenant that is currently working underneath them by the Dawn themselves. But he's not a part of them technically. He is a bookie that has been brought in due to his abilities. But he himself, based on the paperwork, seems to be smuggling in a lot of what in D&D terms is called spice. In outside of game terms, drugs. It does seem to indicate like opium and other things of hallucinogenic terms. Many times, though, mage casters that want to go into a more extreme measurements of magic, but also don't care about their body or mind, use these hallucinogens to make illusions real, or at least ramped up so much that the others or the minds of others can't tell the difference.
Alright.
It's basically an extreme form of, I'm going to call it spice. Spice that ramps up your magic. It's highly coveted in a lot of places. It seems to be exporting out from Zeno out into the rest of the world. The main proprietor, however, from this current illegal business, because it is illegal, is Mortania. And Luminera. You do know that Mortania is a more or less human ruled populace governed by various people, and its main, not export and import, but its main draw there is the various schools of magic that are formed there. They learn, they are taught, and they basically go into a military zone, or the wizards and other magic casters are sent out to more or less be a commodity. Luminera currently is creating those supposed magic new life technology. So it's possible that this spice would be good for both of those practices.
Alright.
But that seems to be all that they gave you. It seems they gave you what you asked for, but no more than that. So, you have what you have, and they probably have more, but you didn't ask for it. And like criminals, they only do enough that it qualifies. But yeah, once reading through the documents, Yoko about to leave, Asher, they're both here.
Can I borrow both of your expertises tonight?
What was that, sorry?
Would I be able to borrow both of your expertises tonight?
What do you mean?
I suppose. What do you need done?
Do you remember that man asking about Marigold?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to kill him.
Okay.
And what's your plan for when his friends show up?
Hopefully we won't be here anymore, is the plan. It's mostly to buy Marigold herself a few extra days.
Okay.
Looking through that information, it's possible and a viable option, definitely. If they are coming in tomorrow, Milo, you do have those paths you guys can take to, like, basically leave them in the dust. They are dangerous, more or less, sure, but dangerous in the standard traveler, maybe not an adventurer or someone trained a lot more properly. So that is honestly a viable option if you decide to take that route. Entirely up to you guys, though.
Where are we headed to after this?
I was hoping that your notes in there would guide your way.
I'm pretty much done.
It's basically it's a what was the word I said? A byproduct of their dealings. We're just Aquas is just benefiting, not in an active measure, but in a byproduct. Like, it just so happens that they're benefiting from them doing their own thing. So
the only other stuff in the notes is an abandoned safe house in the middle of the woods.
For what?
From the notes, it does seem to be an old safe house that was discarded a long time ago. It seems to be like a safe house that they hold stuff in and then redraw stuff out, but after some time, it was designated in the red zone. Basically dangerous, so they abandoned it. It could still have stuff in there, but so far it just seems to be a warehouse rest house.
Alright, we could go there. Just check out, see what they left. It was designated not safe, but I think we can handle a little bit of some things.
See if they left anything behind. It could be interesting.
Yeah, but other than that, I'll just need to get this information, but it shouldn't be too much of an issue.
Also, the safe house is near a cemetery. It's not important. I just wanted to let you know. Or maybe it is important.
Is it near the town, or is it, you said out in the woods?
Out in the woods, near a cemetery. Out in the woods.
Alright.
Which is a little weird, but yeah.
I will say, like, there is this, but I do have a few other things I'm wanting to do. Like, originally set out from where I lived to explore and find things, but some things led to others and got involved with some stuff. Hence the reason we were sent here. Or at least I was sent here.
See.
I mean, you guys have seen me change into animals and stuff. More or less, when I left my home, I was more or less going to look for new beasts and creatures to learn about them so that I can possibly change into them myself.
Well, let's deal with one issue at a time before. There's no need to make any ironclad plans. We can stay.
And we know beasts live out in the woods, so the warehouse might be a good idea to look in case there is a wild beast. They did say it was abandoned because it got too dangerous where it was, so there might have been something that made its nest nearby. Calls that, so. But yeah, I don't mind lending my... How did you put it? Expertise?
Thank you.
We're still... Okay. Out of character. We're still... The day is the same... Is it the same day as we went out to turn that carriage back around, send them on their way?
Technically, yes. You guys did that early morning. So unfortunately, you guys haven't given me a chance to take a long rest. So it is technically within that same spectrum of time.
Alright, because then that means I'm still trying to piece together how the Gestalt works with my classes. So if I remember correctly, I think I only used Ranger spells last. So I still should have my Druid spells, and I only have one. I can't remember. Do Druids get their wild shape back on a short rest, or is it a long rest?
Short.
You've definitely had enough time for a short rest.
And also, good news, Ranger and Druid both use Wisdom as their casting stat, so it doesn't actually matter. What spell slots you use?
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, for me to know which spell, because rangers I only have first level spells, but druids I have a second level, I believe.
There's nothing that would stop you from upcasting one of your ranger spells with a druid spell slot.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
Alright. In that case, give me some time to rest real quick to recuperate some of my energy, because changing into that bear did drain me a little bit, but
It's
I'm
3
looking
hours before midnight. So yeah.
I am looking forward to finding more ways to transform, because where I grew up, there weren't many. There were some interesting creatures and stuff. I'll give it that, but I don't know if I should use their forms out here in and out in the open in this area because of religious beliefs.
Of course.
But if it comes down to it, I am more comfortable in those forms.
And you, Yuriko?
I'm fine with helping.
Thank you.
Back in the present, Yoko is in her room, enjoying a nice chamomile tea, potentially falling asleep unless Aster wakes them up. Aster, you prepare yourself for the following actions to take. Milo, you definitely do get some rest. So all of you do, in fact, get a short rest. That much is definitely possible and generally viable. During that 3 hours, did you do anything?
Yoko's gonna attune to her new sword wand.
Sword wand sounds like it could be its own thing.
It honestly does. Attuning to it after 30 minutes, you do then bind to the weapon, and the weapon binds to you. Did you? Were you able to look it up in the compendium?
Yeah.
Because it's exactly that. It's just a sword now. The one
My
trick.
computer.
Okay. The one thing though that I allowed for the new air quotes homebrewed weapon is that when attacking, you can either use your spell attack bonus stat or your attack bonus stat.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure you choose whichever's higher. So up to you.
Yeah.
But yes. Milo, do you do anything within those 3 hours?
Other than just rest, I do not teach, but tell the monkey we're gonna try to be quiet, probably, and tell him to, if we do get into a scuffle, he is to do his best to, I'm guessing, beat the guy down. Very much so.
You tell your monkey to make sure to pulverize someone if need be. Aster did say kill, so
Basically, attack who I'm going to be attacking.
yeah, more than fair, I suppose. 1-on-4 match, as fair as that is. But within that time, I don't know why the monkey isn't here. It's weird. But they are there. Just not, I guess, visually there. I looked up on the monkey right now. But Aster, do you do anything within those 3 hours? Rest.
My hand wraps didn't require attunement, did they?
No, they were just illegal weapons, technically.
Okay. I'll just
Just
wrap
wear
them
some
about.
gloves over them.
Just don't punch a cop and you're fine, Aster. So like, no cop punching? Well, no guard punching, I guess, in D&D terms.
Setting the bar real high.
Uh,
But yeah, I'll I'll rest Shadowbox a little bit just to psych myself up.
All right. You place the bands around your wrist, made out of steel and electricity. I don't know which one you're currently using. It begins to
I'll
charge.
put one on each hand.
Huh. I guess you technically can do that. It's a little meta, but I'm gonna allow it since I didn't think that far ahead.
Wait, how? I don't mean to be meta here. I thought you gave me 2 hand wraps because someone has 2 hands. I didn't mean to. Like...
I did. I didn't think of that for some reason. Which
I won't do it if you don't like that.
Aster, it makes sense. If it didn't make sense, that's another story. Like if you put it on your feet. Even though Yoko now has blade shoes. But no, I just didn't think of that, which is honestly good for you. I just like it makes total sense. Why didn't I think of that? Whatever. But yeah, you can definitely do that, Aster.
Oh.
Like Aster's smart enough, and you've been trained strategically to do everything at your advantage, so that does apply to you. Also, you're going to be deleted and then brought back because now these tokens have your health bars.
Back.
Also, Monkey's there.
Okay.
But yes, you bring in both of the bindings. You touch them together. They spark with energy, and you begin to shadow box in the area. For a few moments here and there, I'm going to go ahead and... Aster, go ahead and roll me athletics. Thankfully enough, it wasn't low. You begin to get a good feeling from these, and you can tell that you're able to use them just fine. You do, if you roll pretty low, I was gonna say like you got pretty close to like a curtain and almost set it ablaze, but 27 is just you being impressive in your room.
Me showing off to no one.
Yeah, like maybe that suit of armor that's there technically. But you do quite well, and you do become accustomed to this style of fighting and these new armaments fairly easily. Monkey is currently training with Milo to make sure to kill the thing that needs to be killed. And Yoko begins to attune and see how the weight of the blade is, how it moves, how it reacts. Overall, you're all getting prepped up to murder this random stranger. Time passes and you eventually get...
He's not a stranger. He told us his name.
This associate that you're about to murder.
Before we head out there, Yoko's gonna stash her bundle of extra swords under her bed.
You stash what's like, I think you have like 5 swords. So making sure you're not hurt or encumbered, you put them on the ground and then like smoothly put them downwards. When you go to do that, you lift up the bed curtain, and underneath the bed it does have a ward of protection and an alarm spell intertwined within it. If someone tries to break in or tries to harm you while you're sleeping, they immediately go off and protect the sleeper and warn them.
It's useful.
10 gold gets you a lot. This is likely all in all of your rooms, but Yoko's the only one that's discerned this so far. It also happens, I guess, now, if someone tries to grab your blades. So yeah, thankfully enough, you can tell, Yoko, no one's going to steal them. And not get caught. But meeting at the wharf, harbor, without too much of an issue, you do come here and you do see, at the, not shallow end, but the darker end, Tone is there, like expectantly waiting.
Are there still all these people around?
Eventually they do thin out, but there are some people that, well, if they work here or live nearby, they don't leave. But they do come down and diminish by a fair amount. There's only like maybe 1 or 2 people around you, or stick around, because they live nearby.
If you would be so kind as to just wait around the corner, and if things start getting out of hand, jump in. I have something of a plan to deal with this.
Okay.
Owen, pleasant night.
I suppose it is. So, what was the information you were looking at? What we're looking at?
I actually know where she's staying, and I'm going to lead you to her. If you will, I'm going to just start headed this way, and I'm going to point just off screen, I guess.
So to the right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Lead the way.
And I'll start to. And I'm just going to immediately, like, trying to get the jump on him. I'm going to try and grapple him and then shove his face down into the water to make it harder for him to yell.
You have to pivot backwards to do that, to grab him again. Can you think of a way that, like, this will be surprising, but I feel like he'd have not disadvantage or anything like that against someone that has to turn and then, like, grab him, like, deck him in the face and drown him. Like, convince me how you gain advantage in this.
I know. I'm gonna be flipping like a coin in my hand.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna purposefully make it look like an accident, of course, drop it. And then, like, turn around to pick it up. And then as I rise from picking it up, I'll go for it. That way it doesn't look like I'm just suddenly pivoting around for no reason.
Yeah, I'm willing to believe that. Aster, go ahead and roll with advantage. This is a grapple check. You will have advantage, athletics for you, and athletics or acrobatics for him. Unfortunately, he's not very acrobatic, so he will go with athletics. He is okay, but he doesn't have an 8, unfortunately. And that's an 8. Well, he does now technically have an 8. As you begin to, when you arrive towards him, you did have the coin in your hand. Let's just metagame that. Spinning it around, he then tells you lead the way. As you begin to turn towards the opposite direction, you accidentally drop the coin before making a full pivot turn. He hears it fall down. You hear it fall down and turn. You go down backwards to pick it up, and when you pick it up, you basically body check him to, like, make him draw out breath to lose it. And then, what do you do now that he's currently winded? Currently can't speak, not considered stunned, but he is grappled, and at the moment, in 3 seconds, for the next 3 seconds, can't yell out for help.
I'll action surge, and I'll just lead him into the water. Just him there, face down. If I need to prone him, I'll do so.
Technically, you can move someone in a grapple, and honestly, that's 5 feet. So I'm pretty sure you can move 5 feet. Jumping into the water with the body now in tow. He's currently struggling,
Switch us.
Switch you.
Yeah, so I'm standing on the rocks, and then he's in the shallows.
That's right. As you're standing in the rocks while he's in the shallows, you, like, bring him further down. I want you to go ahead and roll sleight of hand. Because I can't think of a way of trying to stealthily jump into the water and, like, some random person not hear the splash.
I mean, I'm going more for the rocks, but yeah, he would definitely be... At least his face in the water.
Yeah. I'm just making sure, like, when he tries to struggle, they don't really hear anything. Like, this is basically sleight of hand to make sure, like, you hug him with a bear hug to make sure his hands don't flail everywhere.
Would you say that this is perhaps sleight of hand strength?
I would, technically. Yeah. So use your strength modifier. Are you proficient in...
I'm not. That's why I was going for the extra bonus for my strength.
All right. I'm just gonna roll a. One of the random silhouettes is a guard, but he's not that close enough that he's gonna basically need to roll 16 to hear that. Damn it. Uh, Going to where Monkey, Yoko, and the gang Milo are, you do see that one of the silhouettes slash guards, garbed to the nines, talking and making conversation with a pretty face, does like hear some splashing in the distance and goes, "One moment, miss. I need to go check that out." "Oh, no problem at all. I'll be right here." And he begins to walk over towards where Astra is. When he sees the monkey, doesn't respond like surprised, but he is surprised based on his face when he notices you two.
Starts at doing crazy little shit and starts throwing shit at him, like just like a playful monkey, like random. Just takes a little pile of shit and just throws it at him.
Okay, I didn't think you'd do that. I definitely thought you were going to distract him, but not with monkey feces.
The strongest distraction.
The strongest.
I mean, Milo's just sitting there like relaxing, just resting and stuff, and
yeah,
monkey.
Beforehand he was gonna say evening. The monkey quickly like grabs debris and ground stuff. With your mental link, you just tell the monkey to start throwing stuff at this man, and immediately like picks up stuff, picks up junk. I think this is gonna be a spiritual monkey, so can spirit monkeys poop? Picks up
He's
like a
primal. He's not
Oh.
not spiritual. He's a prime. Like he doesn't look like a normal. He's a monkey, the form, but he's kind of got like primal essence. Like right now, he's just more naturey look. So he kind of has like, kind of looks more earthy, kind of like leaves and stuff and everything, because they're a primal.
Okay, that's
type.
interesting. I'll have to figure that one out later. Honestly, I was just gonna have Monkey pick up a dog turd and throw it at him, if we couldn't think of a way. But that's fine. Somehow Monkey poops, grabs it, and like throws it at the man. The guard just looks at you. "Do you mind restraining them?"
What are you talking about?
Continue to throw stuff at the guard. That.
Hey, now. Stop it. Don't do that. It's not nice.
I'm gonna get more guards here. You wait here. I'm gonna get more guards.
Why? He stopped.
Did he? Because you never.
Yeah.
Okay.
When I started talking, he would stop. Like,
It honestly sounded
now
like you were saying.
apologize. Now
Stop,
apologize.
Don't do it. It sounded like you were being sarcastic, and the monkey's still throwing stuff.
I'm sitting there going, now apologize. Monkey
Monkey-
kind of looks at me. Huh? Apologize. Monkey kind of sulks and goes, throws something that he had in his hand away.
Milo, go ahead and roll persuasion. This is basically trying to persuade the guard to think the monkey was the one that was creating the splashing. That's not good.
Nope.
He's gonna roll
Wow,
insight.
even worse than me.
He doesn't have the greatest insight, but it's still a +2. He knows that one lady's into him. It's 15. He doesn't think that, but that's honestly not anything against you. So when he looks towards you, the monkey finally finishing it off. At this point in time, after the splashing, the splish splash dies down to the point you believe they're now unconscious. They have yet to die, but if you remove your hands, they are not moving.
So bubbles have ceased.
Bubbles have ceased.
I'm gonna find a large-ish rock. I'm just gonna place it on their back and sort of slide them out into the dock edge proper.
All right. That's like another round. You begin to do so, and while you do so, the guard looks towards Monkey and Milo. Look, I need to take care of something. You control that. If they throw stuff at me when I go look for the thing, we're gonna have a talk.
What do you want to talk about?
Begrudgingly now having a bad day, just ignores Milo's conversational pattern. That's a weird way.
Monkey
of phrasing
throws
that.
something right at the back of his head, and then so quickly that then he looks like he's not doing anything nonchalantly.
He looks back. He has to do his job, unfortunately. And moves forwards. Astra, I want you to go ahead and roll stealth while you hear footsteps coming towards you. Yoko, do you do anything before that? He turns the corner.
No, just gonna nod to him.
Evening. He's suddenly turning to nod back at you. That's good enough to give Astra advantage, I guess. Yeah, this guard's more of a hound dog, so he is pretty distracted by a pretty face. Astra, go ahead and roll stealth with advantage as you move them behind the dock and you yourself try to get underneath the bridge. Since he's more or less preoccupied, his perception is +1. Disadvantage thanks to Yoko saying, "Hey, how's it going?" That's a 13.
Jeez.
Don't worry, I've
We're
been
gonna-
going through this. It's fine.
We're gonna have to kill the guard, guys.
The body is able to get underneath the bridge and house down. They're basically dead. But before Astra can block their vision, or at least their form out in the water, the guard looks towards you, Astra, like still more or less swimming, or at least buoyant, tiptoes, and then looks towards you. Still in the distance, but can see more or less your silhouette. You there, what are you in the water for?
The rocks, they're slippery. I was trying to soak my feet and I slid in.
Damn it. We try to swim. A lot of people try to swim in the night, try not get caught, like, with their mistress or something.
Here, if I'm gonna swim towards up on this shallows. Mind helping me out?
Sure. Comes over. He's using passive perception now, and with your stealth, he doesn't seem to notice the body, at least just yet. I'm gonna give the rock a +2 to the body not being seen, at least. But he did notice you, Astra. He brings out his hand to basically pull you out.
Take it and I'll get up and I'm gonna get up onto the shore and specifically be it so that he has to turn away from looking at the docks.
He basically forces you out. He does have a good strength score, so he's easily able to do that. But you continue to position your body further back, so he has to turn. No longer seeing the docks and no longer hearing splashing, he does believe that you are probably the one that was splashing around. Look, maybe next time don't swim, don't jump around. If there is someone underneath the docks that's, not clothed, a lot of people tend to do that in the middle of the night. Just be careful.
Of course. Thank you.
Right. I have to go deal with that monkey.
Monkey has disappeared. I made him go away.
Jumps on the roof.
Nice.
I'm gonna just have him roll to see if he cares enough to have Milo destroy his night or go back to the nice conversation, flirting he was having with that lady. He's gonna go back to have that nice conversation with the lady. Monkey's gone, no longer his problem. His shift ends in an hour. Monkey isn't worth it. Him maybe getting lucky tonight is worth it. But you did it. You successfully killed some rando dude that was just doing his job.
Now we need to see what he had.
He's in the water if you want to check.
Well, we can wait for Rando Guard to finish up his flirt and go get laid before we slip back into the water.
I'm gonna roll for that.
Watch until he disappears. Nonchalantly, not make it look like I'm watching him, but
Yeah. You can tell that the guard and the individual person are talking smoothly one another. It doesn't seem like the woman seems to be picking up what he's putting down, She rolled a terrible insight check. But the man seems to be more or less not suave, but generally a good conversational person. So when he does have to make a lap around the other buildings, she joins him without too much of a concern. It doesn't seem like he's gonna be lucky tonight, but definitely, unfortunately for him, a friendship is gonna be formed. Maybe later on it turns romantic, but for tonight, I'm gonna say a 16 doesn't cut it.
He already got lucky tonight in that he didn't give Aster a reason to drown him, too.
I guess that's true.
He needs to be lucky. He needs to be happy that the monkey intervened in saving his life.
By throwing poop at him. Eventually, the rest of the people do eventually go away. There are some people here and there, but not enough time that they stay here. That the streets are basically empty. It's like 1 o'clock at night, so you guys have free reign of the harbor if you want to do some things.
Go back, and I'll just reach down to fish the body out.
It's been 1 hour since making sure the coast was clear. So the body is still there, just very, very soggy and very, very dead. Thankfully enough, no one saw that, so good to go.
And yeah, search the body.
Examining the body and looking through his stuff, you can tell that he has an onyx black blade. Again, when I mention blade, it's basically, if anyone wants to take it, they take it. It is a +1 sword that deals necrotic damage rather than slashing or piercing. It's a very intricate blade. It can be whatever
Doesn't stop you from being drowned.
It doesn't stop you from being drowned.
Nope.
He does have 2 scrolls that are now waterlogged. One of them, however, does seem to have not basically turned into mush. The other one has. There's like some red ink in that, so it kind of blends through it, or bleeds through it. But the other one seems to be a scroll with an insignia written in Draconic. Aster, do you speak it? Slash read
Let me look. I do.
Oh, okay.
Oh, cool.
Never mind.
This is a scroll, magical scroll itself. The insignia, or at least the emblem on it, seems to be a spell known as. Let me look at his list. Oh, I mean that makes sense why he has that, but why didn't? No, that wouldn't make sense why he wouldn't use it. This is known as Bull's Rush Gift. It's a homebrew basic spell. For the next round, you have advantage on any strength or dexterity checks or rolls, including attacks. And it does include in combat or otherwise. It basically shoots the caster with adrenaline, and you basically, for the next round, have advantage on any attacks. You can use it as a bonus action. So it's basically a better form of the terrible level 2 spell that I can't remember. Or was it level 1? I think it was level 1.
Are you talking about
ability?
how long does it last?
It lasts a round.
Okay.
It does not. Go ahead.
Is it a bonus action?
It is a bonus action to cast. It does not meet the qualifier of if you cast this spell, you can't cast another one, so you can cast another spell, and you'll have advantage on that attack. I forget what that terrible spell is called. That gives you advantage on the next turn.
Are you thinking of
That's a
True
cantrip.
Strike?
True Strike! Yeah, it's a
It's a
cantrip.
cantrip, yeah.
It's basically,
Yeah, but it's an actual action.
This is a better form of this, of True Strike.
Which isn't hard.
It's not. It's really not. The reason why I was wondering why he didn't use this because you had him grappled, so of course he couldn't use it. Anyways, you can call it whatever you want. It's better True Strike. Whatever. The rest of his stuff, he does have 500 gold. A weird. It's kind of hard to tell. It looks like a blade, but the blade itself is like It looks like a scythe, but instead of the handle, it has a beam that continues on the curve, and then it's almost touching the tip of the blade itself. It's like a circle. Half the circle is a blade, and the other half is a half circle pommel.
Sickle?
No.
It's kind of like one of those old Egyptian curved swords, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Kopesh?
Yeah, it's that. That's what they're called.
Kopesh.
Kopish. It's kind of like that, yeah.
Mhm.
Sick.
Nice.
Do you want to identify it in case it's magical?
Do you guys? But other than that, he does have 2 daggers, a vial of standard poison, and another 70 silver. Surprisingly, he doesn't carry copper.
Do you say 7 or
70.
70 silver?
70 silver.
Okay.
70.
Yuriko, I can't cast identify.
Yeah, I can take a look at that stuff after we get out of here.
Fair enough. And I'm just gonna sort of pull the body back into the shallows, placing the rock back on its back.
Go ahead and roll. You would be familiar with this. Deception. I'm gonna give you advantage because you aren't pressed for time. You put the rock around the edges near his body. That will keep it down there, but will clearly seem to indicate like maybe they tripped and the rock fell on their back. So you make it look like it was an accident and like no one just like killed this guy randomly. And now there's a murderer in town. You basically make it look like an accident. If someone does find the body, and then like bring it down.
I'll entrust the sword to Yoko,
All right.
and I'm gonna go try to speak with Marigold just to let her know that she has a little bit of extra time to work with.
And then we need to leave town.
I feel pretty confident that we can't be traced to this, but yeah.
Yoko's just gonna take the weapon, the Kopesh,
Mhm.
and head back to the inn, well, our tavern inn room.
Yes. You go over to the other tavern, you know, the one with the actual room. Milo, do you join as well, or do you follow to give warning?
Did we decide we're staying the night here, or are we leaving now?
Like, they come in tomorrow. They're likely not going to show up randomly in the night. And then immediately learn that their friend got killed. You'll have time.
Alright, Milo's not really, doesn't... Alright, Milo will just go leave it to Aster, then he'll tell the monkey to follow Aster and listen to him if he encounters any. Basically tell him to protect Aster if anything goes down. And then Milo will go back to the room.
Alright. Both of you return to the room without too much of an incident. Thankfully enough, that one guard that's been rolling really well tonight does not seem to notice you. Eventually you can tell that Marigold and Red have been speaking to each other for a bit. And when there's a good pause in the conversation, you do move forwards. Marigold does look towards you and does state, "Oh, thanks again for telling me about this place." Red then looks towards you. She's doing quite well. Definitely has a very vibrant feel towards her. Definitely worth having her stay up top, you know, for entertainment prices and all that nature.
To get you the extra business. You definitely deserve it.
Definitely. Who knows? Maybe I'll make a side building for people that want to sleep here, I guess. Seems like a hassle, but if it pays well. You're not sure if that's a joke or not. But Marigold does look towards you. Thanks again. Is there a reason why you're here, though?
Yes. Red, would you mind pouring me a drink? Just whatever is good on tap.
Of course. Moves over to... She can read the situation, so she leaves you guys some space.
The main pursuer, and a voice quieter, of course.
Mhm.
The main pursuer has unfortunately been found dead in the docks, so you might have a little bit of extra time to work with.
Roll deception. Dang, you've been rolling well with deception. Looking at this information, she does take it to face value at heart. She does not expect or suspect you are the one that killed the individual. But she is aware that that has transpired, and with this information, she at least is thankfully relieved. Looking towards this, she does thank you, and she does state, thank you. If this is the person that was able to find me so easily, and the others weren't, I might have more time than even what you imagine. If I find you anywhere else, I'll at least be able to rest tonight. But if I find you somewhere else, another city maybe, I suppose I do owe you one.
I do mean to call in my favors eventually, but I don't mean them to harm anyone.
Of course. It is all part of politics, so I understand. Is there a reason there's a monkey with... And then she stops for a moment. Is that the monkey that was spying on me earlier?
Perhaps I don't actually have an answer for you. Apologies.
It was just weird. They kept looking at me, eyes glanced to the side. I don't know, like, were they going to throw something at me? Were they trained like an assassin? I don't know. After you telling me that someone was after me, I really couldn't tell.
The monkey just, after hearing the word assassin, looks at her and just runs his thumb across his neck and grins.
She just get a little hesitant and worried by that. But thankfully enough, they're behind Aster.
And then he points at her and kind of cackles.
Yeah, Kopesh.
I know the person whose companion that is. I wouldn't pay it too much mind.
Okay.
Monkey kind of climbs up on the bar stool, and kind of, it's like a human would, like, hit me, but doesn't, like, can't speak, but just hits the bar, like, hit me with another like a drunkard would with a shot, you know.
Mm-hmm. Seeing that the conversation more or less has died down, other than the monkey asking for alcohol. Red does give, not the monkey, of course, but Aster their drink. All right.
Monkey just like kind of says, like, does the hand motion, like, drink.
Yeah, the city might have a no pets policy by the end of tonight. But Red does give Aster their drink and Monkey a glass of water if they want to drink that. They're not going to give animals alcohol, unfortunately. They don't want to lose their license. But Red does stay. You're more than welcome to drink and eat, Sir Aster. But other than that, no other rooms available, and I don't bunk more than one person in one room. I don't think there's space.
Of course, I just came to have a drink and speak with my friend.
Of course. Miss Marigold, you are up in about an hour, so if you want to do anything else, more than welcome to. But we're closing... looks at the time. In 30 minutes. Marigold, you can do whatever. I always forget how... she looks at her empty glass near here. I always forget how much I drink at night. Oh well. And like basically glazes over, acting on autopilot at this point.
Like he just plays with the water, doesn't drink it.
Marigold does look towards you, Aster. She does thank you again. Is there anything else you do here?
No.
Okay. Wandering back to where the rest of the gang is. The rest of the gang is technically already here. You guys definitely have time before Aster gets over here, so what do you guys do?
It's gonna relax, I guess. I mean, there's nothing really. Gotta look over the bow and kind of just like practice aim to get a feel for the bowstring, the strength of it, and everything.
Yeah, getting the strength of the bow, how it bends and how it curves, the actual projectile. You can tell that it's finely made, finely crafted. It's clearly not made for you. In fact, there's an engraving to the side that you didn't notice until now after some time. It does read Delilah. So either that's the name of the bow or the person that had it before you. But it is and does seem to be a sturdy weapon. Definitely something worth the price. Yoko, what do you do?
Yoko's gonna start ritually casting Identify to identify that sword.
Yeah. While Malo is currently practicing and Monkey is technically with Aster, you begin to ritually identify things here and there. You ritually identify the scroll. Obviously, you know that it is better to strike, whatever you want to call it. You ritually identify everything else. There doesn't seem to be anything other magical things other than the Kopesh. The Kopesh itself is a binded strength weapon. It does require those practicing with martial weapons to use. It, however, does have an added bonus of being as strong as a great sword. It's also a +1 weapon, technically. Other than that, it doesn't have like any like phantom gifts. It doesn't shoot out lightning or catches on fire. It's just a very, very good, strong weapon.
So it's a +1 greatsword.
+1 greatsword.
I just wanted it for the notes.
+1 greatsword flavored weapon.
Is it two-handed?
Yes, technically. You can use one hand or two. It honestly depends on
So
how you
it's
fight.
versatile?
Yes. You do require training in martial weapons, though. I think, Yoko, you would have that. So, yeah.
I think all of us have that,
Probably.
to be honest.
Yeah. At this point in time, I'm going to say 10 minutes is enough time for Aster to, like, give their conversation, Monkey to throw a fit, and then both of them returning.
I appreciate everyone's assistance tonight.
Well, we really didn't do anything, but okay.
Well, I didn't really do much. Seemed like you had everything well in hand.
We know you can lie.
I don't lie. I just don't necessarily say the truth you think you hear.
So, mislead.
If that's how you would like to put it.
So we're going to go to the head towards the safe house tomorrow?
If you think there's something worth finding there, then I'm okay with doing so.
I'm interested to see why they abandoned it. See what would cause them to abandon it, you know? Just seems interesting.
Of course.
I mean, To be honest, I've completed what I came here for, so I'm basically free to do whatever I want. Usually when have things I have to do, when I'm done finish, I usually have time to do whatever, go wherever.
Milo, you do have to write a report and send a messenger hawk back to Aquas. But honestly, you can go to the harbor, requisition a hawk, and have it sent. It's honestly an offhanded thing you can do.
Yeah, I would have done that during the day when I got the information.
You tell me you got it at night.
Oh, well, I'll do it before we leave town.
Yeah, that's doable. Again, no one will immediately find a dead body if they're not looking for a dead body. Except maybe campers.
Since we're here, I'll tell you guys what I do. Basically, I go out, gather information, and usually it's basic. I never really go home, or at least where I stay most of the time. It's basically they'll send a message, and then I complete the task, and then just fly to, and I go wherever I want until I get another quote-unquote assignment. So I'm free to do whatever until I get another message.
See, and you work for, you said who?
I didn't say. Let me get to know you a little bit more, and then I might tell you.
Cryptic.
This information that you were looking for, it's something, and it's quite political in nature, is it not?
I mean, it could be interpreted that way.
I myself am a bit vested in politics.
I'm personally not, but doesn't mean that my employer isn't. I basically just go where I'm sent. And when I finish, I'm basically left alone, do what I want.
Interesting. There's not many jobs like that.
Well, no, not really. But I guess
Scouts and spies come to mind. And he kind of chuckles.
Yeah, they do come. That does come to mind, I guess, but wouldn't say that. But
you could also be a traveling reporter. But then again, often not in the real world,
they're
considered spies too.
I've told them I'm an info. I work as an info broker.
I know.
So
yeah. But yeah. After giving the information at hand, more or less coming closer together, you guys likely rest for the night, making sure you take your long rest. Yoko, looking down underneath your bed, you can tell that your blades are still there. When you look down to maybe grab them, check them out, the wards didn't proc whatsoever, so it does seem to be indicating whoever is currently in the room, or is, at the very least, whoever has ownership of the room for that night, it won't activate. So not if you just stash stuff there and pick them back up, it won't immediately proc, which is good. Yay for security magic. That being said, though, you guys definitely take a rest, and before tomorrow's evening, you will definitely be heading out, giving out your report, doing what else you guys decide to do in the morning. If you guys go back to the scene of the crime, things will maybe happen, because that's how stories work, but you don't have to. You don't have to be the criminals that murdered someone and go back to the scene of the crime. I'll leave that up to you when you wake up early tomorrow morning. But we will take our 5-minute break here because I need to go give my cat their medicine. I'll be right back.
Cigarette.
BRB.
And I'm back.
Welcome.
Let me know when you guys are ready.
I'm ready.
I mean,
I'm ready.
I'm just not at my computer. I mean, I'm here.
Okay. So long as you don't need to make a roll, you should be fine. Okay. I'm gonna put you in your rooms. Eventually waking up early tomorrow morning. Surprisingly enough, no one has killed you in your sleep. You've been... These are honestly very good rooms. Who knows if you'll find more in the middle of the woods. Examining the area around you, you can tell that no one has disturbed or perturbed your rest. You do see that when you step outside, there's like a tray of food there. Noticeable by a line of sight. There seems to be like someone or something carrying it in the midair. When you take it, some strange phantom voice does say, "Enjoy your meal," and like begins to walk into the hallway, and then fades out of existence. You didn't see it fade out of existence, but you assume it does, as there's a weird electrical current in the air when that happens. Eating your meals and resting, fully relaxed and fully, I say, enjoying your night and / day. More or less, you are ready to head out. You do have more or less a path you can take, or you can, I don't know, hire a guide to lead you through the woods. I believe Milo could probably lead you through it, and so could potentially Yoko. I'll leave you.
More. I'm probably better at the woods.
Oh, definitely better.
I mean, I grew up in the woods.
All right. I'm just gonna bring you all together so I can copy and paste you to the next map.
All right, I'm switching back to my computer real quick. Hold on.
Will we be coming back here after we check this place out?
You ask, and there is no current response, as you're not sure.
I don't know. I'd like to find some odd creatures if possible, but some beasts and everything. But that's up to you guys. I mean, that's
How
what.
far away is this place we're going to?
3 days out.
Okay.
Within the path you're taking, it is a shortcut through where you're from. Basically, you're at Escara's water district area where boats and things go through it. The path you're taking is a shortcut into Mortania, which, if you don't go by the toll roads, if you go by this path, it's 3 days out. If you go by the standard paths, it is a week and a half out. So this is a good amount of shortcut time. And there's probably a reason why they stopped taking it. But yeah, examining the area, and you can definitely come back to the city without too much of an issue, so long as you're not wanted for a crime. And even still,
before we go,
disguise yourselves.
Before we leave, I'd like to take my bundle of swords over to the sea shanty.
Okay.
And see if I can. Well, Red will let me leave them there somewhere for a little while.
That's a weird ask, but technically doable. Coming over to the sand shanty, the only other place you know that is technically part of a crime syndicate, but also just an informant. You come over and ask Red, "Hey, can I store these swords with you?" She looks towards you. I mean, I do have room. Marigold's leaving by tonight. How long do you think you're gonna need them here?
Maybe a week.
If I'm gonna get a maybe. I'm gonna need at least 2 gold for storage fee.
I'll give you 5.
All right. I'll deal with a maybe. You give her 5 gold, and she goes upstairs. Puts it in technically Marigold's room, at least for today. Put them in the corner. Binds them, makes sure they're secure. Comes back down. Hands you what appears to be a receipt for her bar if you bought something here. But it just basically on the receipt says 5 swords held. 5 gold. Yoko. And hands you the receipt. Alright, return with that receipt and I'll give you your swords back.
I think it should be a few more than 5 swords.
She changes it to the actual sword amount. How much swords did you leave with her?
So there were the swords we got from the... Well, I got from the Minotaur's lackeys.
Yeah, 3 long swords and 2 short swords. Oh, right. And then there are the swords from the guys you killed that were trying to help the people, which I think is another 3 swords.
Yeah, 2 great swords and a rapier.
Yeah, because he also stole that one elf dude's weapon. And I guess never gave it back.
No, I gave his weapon back.
Okay.
The elf guy's weapon.
I'm sure you had an. I'm sure there was a rapier somewhere. So that's 8 blades, maybe 9. That's a lot of stuff. Yeah, you really should have been encumbered at that point. But, or at the very least, disadvantage on stealth with all those swords around. Yeah, she writes 8 on your slip instead. All right, come back and I'll give you your 8 swords back.
And can we get something for the road? We're going to be heading on a trip.
I mean, if you eat it today, she goes back in the kitchen and begins to prepare some meals. She does give you to-go out containers. They're definitely eatable today, but you don't believe the food she makes are preserved.
Yeah, that's okay.
But Marigold looks towards you guys, waves at Aster for thanking him once more. But eventually, you guys head back out. Yoko no longer potentially encumbered by the many, many swords you guys took. I'm not gonna say stealed because some of the people you killed, and I don't want grave robbing to be part of that because they technically weren't in a
Well,
grave
the
yet.
bandits gave them to me.
Technically, yes.
Well, technically, we were the bosses, and we told them, ordered them
Gimme.
to give.
Yeah, that's why I said technically yes. Milo, go ahead and roll survival while you're taking the path forwards. Well, that's pretty good. Getting there and without too much of an issue, you do come across not too much trouble. With the path you take, it surprisingly enough is simple to arrive there. After a day and a half, you do come across something a little problematic, but not exactly too concerning. Arriving there, you do see a dead horse that has been decomposing for a couple of days, and a wagon that is turned over with nothing inside. The horse itself seems to have been pierced by arrows and just lies there. Monkey, I don't know how they would feel about that, but they just pointed out.
I mean, I guess we continue. I mean, but be on guard.
Okay. You go around it as best you can, curving the area, making sure that you aren't too perturbed, or at least, I don't know if you are. But eventually you come across another portion. Another day later, you are able to get here without too much incident. It does seem to be a broken bridge alongside a riverbank. The river honestly doesn't seem to be too deep that you couldn't just step in and walk the other side if you follow the rock paths. What do you do?
I mean, is there anything following us, or does it look? Is there any wildlife nearby that?
So looking around you, you
Looking
can tell that
aggressive?
there is wildlife. On the first day, you obviously ate your meal, but on the second day, you probably still have rations. So unless you want to go hunting, you can definitely go hunting. You do see like some wild deer in the area. You do see what appears to be an owl bear like hunting with its cubs. There are definitely wildlife here. When you, I don't know if you approach some of them, but they do seem to be a little bit more ruthless to any outsiders here. Even the deers that usually get basically book it as soon as someone gets close to them do seem to stand their ground and almost seem to go in a charge position. So animals are currently more violent.
Kind of look at him and like put up the hand, like in a nonchalant way of you do your business. We won't bother you, and we'll do our business, and you don't bother us. Just ignore them.
All right, ignoring them, not getting closer, but not getting too far away. Just basically looks at you until you're far enough away where it can graze without too much of an issue once more. By this point, however, you do get to the broken bridge that, honestly, if there was water here, it makes sense, but since there's so little here, you could just lead through the rocks and get to the other side without too much incident, unless you fear that there's something about the water that you can be concerned about.
Can we tell how deep it
Hold on.
is?
Right, what was that?
Can we tell how deep it is?
From what you can tell by just straight up looking at it, stepping in, you'll go 3 feet deep. So Milo, you might have an issue. But other than that, you can definitely walk through it. It's not so deep you'd suffocate due to water loss. It's also not so deep you couldn't swim if you wanted to go to a deeper end.
FYI, I have the owl right now. I would have changed.
Okay. Monkey gone. Owl.
So, guess we'll continue on. Doesn't seem anything's interesting. I mean, other than the animals are being a little more aggressive than normal.
So you guys go through the underwater rock path, swim over, jump over, dive down, and swim over.
I'm pretty sure I can just jump that. I don't know the
Yeah, I'm
strength
gonna
score of
jump
the other
it too.
Yeah, from what I remember, it's like
Throw me, Aster.
5 feet for every point of strength modifier or dex modifier you have.
No, your jump is your strength. Whatever your score is your jump distance.
So if you have an 18, it's 18 feet? Or...
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense, I guess. Then currently it's at safely 30 feet. Oh, wait. No, probably a little closer than that, honestly. 25.
Yeah. Throw me, Aster.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'll be fine.
Yeet.
Roll athletics. As you begin to move over with Milo, you begin to more or less pivot turn your body to make sure it's like a hammer toss instead of just grabbing a pole and chunking him. With the centrifugal force of moving the body, you then eventually let loose and Milo flies in the air. You are able to get to the other side just enough that you could probably grab onto the ledge with your feet. I want you to go ahead and roll acrobatics or not acrobatics, or dexterity. Acrobatics or
Athletics?
athletics. But Milo already rolled. That's not 11. You begin to grab onto the rock with your feet, using your feet in a nimble way to do so. As soon as that happens, some of it begins to rush through. You are able to get your body onto the ledge, but half of you is submerged in the water as that half sinks in. It is cold, very, very cold, colder than it should be. But you are able to crawl back in, and well, now half of your body is cold, but other than that, you seem to be fine.
Alright. The bird just flies over.
The bird can just fly over.
And then repurchases on my shoulder.
Here, I'll make your bird smaller. There we go. I don't know if that'll help, but it's smaller now. Yoko Aster?
I'm gonna jump. I can do that pretty easily.
Yeah. With your strength modifier, you don't really need to roll super, super high. Honestly, probably just an 11 or 10. I'm assuming you have at least 15 in strength?
I have 18, yeah.
Yeah, so like 10. Don't get lower than 10, I suppose. Yeah. You easily take a running jump, skip and a hop, and manage to get there without accidentally falling in the water. Or accidentally slipping.
Then I'm gonna get a running start and use Step of the Wind and try and jump across.
One key point, you take disengage or dash action, the bonus action, and turn, and your jump distance is doubled for the turn. Yeah, you can just jump. What's your strength modifier?
10.
So that's 20, 8. You need to beat an 8.
And you said I can roll acrobatics or athletics?
Yeah, depending on how you want to do it.
Okay.
You just barely beat an 8.
Yeah.
With Step in the Wind, you're able to basically just barely cling onto the air for like a quick second, less than a second, and jump all the way through. Thankfully, your team has gotten to the other side without more or less incident. On this side as well, you do see animals, but this time you do see them more or less different. You saw owl bears on the other side, but coming over here, you do see owl bears again. Like, they're grazing, do like mean mug you from time to time, but these ones seem to have like weird feathers. They seem to be more or less, instead of brownish, black, purple, red-ish colors. Almost as if the feathers themselves were originally maybe blue, then went into a crimson color, and then purple. Whatever these things are, maybe they're infected by something, or maybe they're more magical. You're not entirely sure. But Milo, you have now encountered weird creatures. And this is on the second day.
If I remember correctly, druids have to take how long to learn a new shape? Trying to remember how long it is I have to study something. I think it's just like a minute to learn how to, if it's a beast, I'll learn how to transform into it.
I believe owl bears are considered beasts. Could be wrong.
Alright. We can continue.
Okay. You like steadfast there for a moment, like slowly moving through, so you take the minute to learn. And then continue forwards. While the following night is not really eventful, Milo, I want you to go ahead and roll a Constitution save.
15.
For some reason, you feel like a shiver down your spine, but afterwards, it seems to be fine. Maybe you're just getting a cold from the water. But when night finally hits, you do come across a ledge. It's close to, or at least half a day away from the safe house area. you do believe you're now in another kingdom, or at least the next kingdom over. And unfortunately now, there's a weird miasmic charge underneath the ground. Coming over and looking downwards, you can see quite literally purple energy, almost seemingly enough electricity, just coursing through the valley. Like, this jump here is not so difficult that, honestly, with the skills of adventurers, you could easily jump. Even Yoko with their 10.
I got a 9.
Even, well, maybe not Milo. Let's see here. I'm gonna say if you go to this ledge, yeah, like 10. 10 will do it.
Or I could just have Esther throw me again.
I guess.
We're gonna work on this, Esther. We're gonna use this in the future as a way to get me places pretty quickly. Possibly, if we get into fights, you could throw me at people, and I can transform.
Aster, do you hammer toss Milo?
I suppose if that's what you want, though I doubt the safety of this.
Like, I'm gonna order the. You got to get rid of the monkey. I'm gonna order the owl to fly over and see if anything happens with the reaction.
Okay. When Aster warned you of potential dangers, you send your owl forwards into the weird, more or less border section of this electrical canyon. As soon as it comes about between halfway through the next destination, you see and feel an electrical charge in the air, and then the purple lightning quite literally bursts from the ground. Not from the ground, but obviously from the canyon up into the air and almost creates a charged electrical fence. I want your owl to go ahead and roll a dexterity saving throw.
$13.
Okay. Thankfully enough, it only takes half damage. The weird fence thing doesn't cover the entire area. It's more like being drawn to the individual that went through. So the other sections do seem to be not safe, but nothing is coming out like an attack, more like reacting to something going through it. Your bird does sustain 2d10 points of electrical damage. That's 1 and 2. So 12 points total. Lightning damage.
Alright, he's at 4 hit points.
Okay. But they tough through it and are able to get to the other side. You now believe that if you aren't able to succeed the save, maybe you don't make it to the other side.
Throw me.
Okay.
DC to beat is 12. Aster, you just need to throw him with and get like a 13. 19's definitely a 13. So getting to the other side, halfway through, the weird current picks up, hits Milo. Milo, I want you to go ahead and roll a dexterity saving throw. You
It was
just
lightning.
Yes. Have you ever seen one of those weird glowing orbs and you put your fingers on it and the electricity go? Yeah, it's basically that.
Okay. As I get hit by the lightning, but you said do what? Roll what again?
Dex save. You just need to get a 13 or above. 16. It hits your body, permeating, but you are able to continue to move forwards and land near your bird. You still sustain half damage, so that's 2d10. Your bird succeeded, so remember to have the 12, so it'd be 6.
Oh, 6. Okay, so he's at 10.
So with yours, that'd be 13. Halfway down would be, let's round it up, 7 points.
I'm going to cast absorb element.
3,
And
I guess?
reduce that even more.
All right, you take 3 points of lightning damage. Yoko and Aster.
Jumping.
Okay, Aster, you can just get there just fine, so the athletic check doesn't really need to be made. You still need to roll a dex save, though. Yeah, you do sustain. I'm just gonna use the previous rolls. No, I'm gonna make it fair. 1, 2, 9 halved, 4, 5 rounded up. Lightning damage, but you are able to push through. No one falls, thankfully, yet. Yoko, you just barely have enough to get there with jumping, but you still didn't make the dex save. Yeah, thankfully enough, dexterity is one of your good stats, and you're able to not jump that far, but eventually you do move next to Aster. 2d10 halved, 5. Surprisingly enough, you got the even number. But once coming to the other side, you can tell that a lot of plants, a lot of rocks, and everything else seems to go into a more monotoned gray, green gunk feeling. It definitely doesn't feel like you're, on the other side anymore. While on this side, you do see what appears to be a vulture, eyeing you from a distance, roughly around 1 click away, which is 1 kilometer away, technically. Just staring at you, hovering around in the air, spinning circles. Presumably to eat you? You're not entirely sure.
Oh, click. Now we head to the shed, or the safe house. Try to find the safe house.
Alright. Do you rest for the night, or do you push through the night?
I mean, I guess we'll rest.
If we push through to the night, when do we arrive at the shed? Is it still day when we arrive, or will it still be midnight?
It'd be midnight to maybe around 2 in the morning.
I say we push through and we just sleep when we get there.
Okay. Going through the weird, more or less haunted forest, because it does feel like that, with the weird monotone green, you can tell that there's some more creatures lurking about. Surprisingly enough, you haven't encountered whatever killed that horse in the wagon. You never examined it, so I'm surprised. Not really. Moving forward, you are able to get there just fine. You are led towards a break between 2 different paths that used to exist. Examining it, Milo, with your previous survival check, because honestly, that's what I'm doing for your skills. You can tell a path leading to the left goes to the cemetery, and a path leading to the right goes to the house.
Okay, we'll go to the house.
Okay. Copy and paste. It does take a few hours to get there, but eventually you do get there just fine. I'm assuming...
fancy safe house.
Yeah, it's a fancy safe house. Getting here without too much of an incident, I'm assuming Milo knowing things and how things work. You probably got blueprints to the house here and there, so I'm not gonna hide anything from you. But wandering in, you can tell that the area is perimetered with a solid cobblestone wall area. Some of the section does be broken off here and there due to probably wear and tear. But entering inside, if you do decide to enter, the doorway itself seems to be off of its hinge. So it's not fully, secure, but, it's a viable option to sleeping outside. I'm going to change the tone of music, though, because this is a little bit more creepy than a market day. Do I have new music that's creepy? Nope, I just have a lot of fighting music. Dangers of the Swamp. I'm gonna go with Dangers of the Swamp. It's probably fighting music. All that. But what do you guys do now that you're inside this very strange abode? Looking inside, you can tell when you enter firsthand. There are a lot of sconces for candles. The candles themselves are like half made, half burnt out, but you can definitely light them up to cast light everywhere. I'm going to assume some of you have dark vision.
Yeah, I'm gonna go around and light them up anyway.
Okay. So helping out those that maybe do not. Lighting up the area.
No,
You
I
can...
do
Yoko helping out Milo. And I'm assuming a bird has an owl has night vision. You light up the area, allowing others to see in colors and
not.
potentially
Got dark
just
vision.
see. City catacombs sounds appropriate. Looking around you, you can tell at first glance there seems to be two, not pyres, but strange bowls in the area. They seem to have ashes inside, and there's a statue in the middle of you. You can tell that it has like a dagger in one hand and an apple in the other, just looking at you. The wings themselves on the back seems to indicate an
Nope.
angel, but the angel
Nope.
itself does not have actual feathers. In fact, they're like bone wings down all the way to half of their body length.
This is some kind of demonic summoning shit.
Is this something I would know from like being as like a symbol of Mauritania or something?
I want you to go ahead and roll religion.
Because we're in Mauritania now, yeah?
Yes. But this is more of a religious thing than anything else. You believe that this individual, or at least this resemblance, seems to indicate that of godly worship, or at least worship of an entity. The entity itself doesn't seem to be like any one thing, or at least any one being. It seems to represent a symbol of kindness, of goodness, but also betrayal and overall thievery, but also showing a gesture of goodwill. This seems to be a symbolic gesture of, like in D&D terms, the god of thieves, or at least an embodiment of a thief.
You can calm down, Milo. It's nothing demonic of the sort. It's the god of thieves. An idol thereof, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, let's look around and see what we can find and go to sleep. Find the most secure room and go to sleep.
That sounds like a good idea.
Certainly can't hurt.
Too bad I don't have a Great Dane token or a van token.
Do what?
Don't worry about it. Bad joke.
He was making a Scooby-Doo reference.
Oh, okay, yeah. I get it. Fuck off.
Looking towards the area, you can tell that there is many doors to every section. There are stairs leading upwards to a secondary story, but you can tell that the stairway /me doesn't allow access to the second floor. I do have notes for the second floor, but honestly, it's up to you to investigate. Where do you guys go first?
I'd like to look upstairs in case it might have a better, like, because out in the open in this room is not really a good place in case something comes in.
Yeah. Going upstairs, I'm gonna say your bird recons and comes back to you with information. There are 5 other rooms up top. They do seem to indicate like living arrangement or quarters. How would the bird open doors? Some of them are broken open. That's fine. You can tell that there are some boxes here and there that look like crates in one room. Another one seems to indicate like people sleep here because there's like 4 bunk beds in this room, but nothing else. In the next third room, you can tell that when you try to open, or when the bird tries to open it, it can't seem to turn the knob, so it seems to be locked. Moving over to the 4th room, you can discern that that's a bathroom. And looking towards the 5th and final room, examining it and looking inside, the bird is able to somehow turn the knob and moving it, and immediately I want your bird to go ahead and roll an intelligence saving throw.
13.
I needed 14. So unfortunately, your bird, when opening it, feels, or at least sees a weird face and immediately gets hit with a weird sensation or presence in their mind, causing their body to just feel a lot of pain. They do sustain 2d10 points of force damage. 15.
Blech. Dead. It just like the bird evaporates into a puff of air, and I know that it's gone. I go, uh-oh. Aster, Yoko, something just killed my bird upstairs.
Can't be good.
Well, we should probably check it out if we were planning on spending the night here.
When
I wouldn't know because he didn't have time to come back and relay the information.
I'm gonna say
I
for the
wouldn't
first
know.
4 rooms, came back, went up, came back, went up, came back, went up. The last one, you just felt your bird no longer there.
Right.
Astra,
Right.
when you and Yoko look into your respective rooms before that happened, Yoko, you found what appears to be a more or less, I was about to say forest fire. That makes no sense. Chimney room with a nice, ripped up, sofa, with a bookshelf next to it, with another, ripped up chair section and a bare, rug. I don't know how Yoko feels about that. But Aster, looking into your respective room, you do seem to be near what appears a dining room or somewhere you can definitely have a meal and study. You also see a globe that seems to be indicating northward, northeast. You also see some books at the corner of the vision that you have. A pristine couch. In fact, it doesn't look like it's been aged or dusted over due to time. But you also see a whole bunch of broken rocks here and there, and like this section does seem to be broken and susceptible to the elements. So I guess that makes the couch even weirder.
You find anything in those rooms?
Nothing
not really.
interesting.
What'd you say, Aster?
Said no, not really.
Alright, let's prepare ourselves. I'm gonna draw my bow and notch an arrow to get ready, just in
Okay.
case something's upstairs.
Bringing out your bow, armed and ready, you begin to move upwards. Does anyone follow Milo?
Follow Milo.
Yeah, I'm gonna head upstairs too.
Okay. Heading upstairs, you first encounter the crate room. Did you do anything there?
Not right now, because I know about the rooms. It was the last door that it told me that it was gonna look in.
So you're gonna bypass
Before.
every room until the last room.
I mean, for right now, because there wasn't. Remind me again what was in those rooms. There was the crate room.
Crate room, bunk bed room, room that's locked, bathroom, force damage door.
Okay, so there's the room that's locked, bathroom, bedroom, crate room, and the door that it went to go and look and then died.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Does the door look
unsummoned.
like it's opened?
Looking at the
No,
door
it
itself.
died. It died. It didn't get unsummoned. It's not. It died.
Oh no! I feel slightly bad. Slightly.
Oh, it's fine. I'll get a new one in the morning. I'll just do another ritual and call the primal elements to send me another friend.
Oh.
You just replace your friends?
Yeah, I was about to say, how would the primal elements feel after?
Basically, I pull a spirit or not a spirit, like a primal being from one of the primal planes,
Mhm.
and it takes on the form that I need. It dies in this plane, but I'm assuming it's still the way it's read. It should still be alive in the other plane. It just got sent back.
Yeah, that's why I said dematerializes. So I was completely shocked when he said, "No, it dies."
I mean, it did technically. Like it's mortal. The body it was using here got killed. There's no
yeah.
body, but technically it did. But yeah.
It's easy
That's
to
neither
exist here.
here nor there.
I'm gonna go with that. Yeah. So you bypass the other rooms, going for the last door in the hallway.
Is it open?
Looking and examining it before you actually stick, I'm gonna say you're like 10 feet back. The door itself doesn't seem to be open. It does seem to have a weird smell to it, as if maybe something popped in the area that released the magical components of its body here. It just basically means your bird died here. What do you do?
Anybody able
I'm gonna see
to
if I
open
can.
from the distance?
The door is closed.
The door is closed. Examining the area around you, you can tell there's a hallway. There are 5 doors in the hallway, left, right, left, right, left. The hallway itself does have 4 sconces. I'm going to say candle holders at this point. To reveal the area more, I'm going to say you guys lit them up. It's perfectly fine if you do. But revealing the light and the corridor around you, hallway. The wood, it seems to be like gnarled, aged, far more rapidly than the house itself. Not broken apart, but like super aged, far longer. Almost to the point of petrification. Examining the last room itself, that door seems to be pristine, uncut, uncurled. I don't know how to phrase that properly. But definitely not aged.
I'm gonna see if I can use Mage Hand to open up the door.
Okay. Casting out a mage hand and getting it towards the door. I'm pretty sure turning a knob is less force than 5 pounds. It begins to bend, and eventually you do hear a click, indicating that it moves. It moved all the way, allowing it to open. Do you push into the room?
Yeah, I'm gonna have the hand push the door open.
Okay. When that happens, I want to see the range of this. I did say 10 feet, but how far do you get from the door? The farthest end of the hallway is 30 feet. The closest end to the door is 5 feet.
I mean, how far can your mage hand work? Forget.
All my Mage Hand has got a range of 30 feet, so
The mage hand can still do that. I'm just saying, how close do your bodies get?
I'm gonna be as far away from the door as I can.
That'd be 13 feet.
Yep.
Aster?
I'll be probably. I'm probably taking point, so like 15.
Okay. What about you,
Yeah.
Milo?
I'll be in between.
Like 20 feet then? Or
I
25?
guess 25. Because I mean, I do have a bow. I'll stand next. Actually, I'll stand right in between, or like right under Yoko, because I can technically occupy her the same space as her.
Okay. Examining the area, Yoko, you bind the door to go open. I don't know why I phrased it this way. Push into, and immediately you feel and see a spirit creature, whatever you want to call this thing. But you see an entity that resembles of a goat mask and face. It's not this close. I just put it this close for some reason. Resembling a goat mask and face with a weird perforating body part that is near the heart that is going back and forth, back and forth. Immediately, people within the 15-foot zone, sorry, Aster, you're just close enough, feel a sensation in their mind just looking at this thing burning in your brain. I want you to go ahead and roll an intelligence saving throw. That is unfortunately not enough. You sustain 2d10 points of force damage. And it just hits your mind just staring at this thing. Looking at you, you don't hear or you don't see it like attacking you. It's just staring at it so closely begins to hurt you. Do you try to attack it? Go forth. Milo, you do have like your bow ready.
Yeah, I guess. Does it look hostile?
It looks disgustingly scary.
Do I
It's
get the
within the
sense
scope
that-
of a second. What do you guys
Okay.
do within that time frame? Aster, you quite literally feel pain just staring at it. Milo, it looks as daunting as you believe it is. It has that weird goat face mask with two horns protruding backwards. The eyes themselves seem to have a soulless glare of blue to them. The body or framework of it does seem to have like a light that glows as of a beating heart, and the smell itself that's drawing from it seems to be of a decaying body.
Okay, probably evil.
I know what I'm going to do.
I'm going to.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I'm just gonna grab the tattered rug here and toss it over it.
Okay. Do you get close to do that?
I mean, I'll have to get like at least here.
Okay, you grab the tethered cloth around it. I'm gonna say you grab it from the bunk bed room. Grab it, immediately rush towards the thing. As you take another 5 feet towards it, I want you to go ahead and roll another intelligence saving throw. You are able to weather through it, only sustaining 1d10 points damage, so 5. And then you take another step forwards, another 5 feet. Able to, do you want to throw it within 10 feet? It will be doable, but it's harder. Or do you go 5 feet and just do it automatically?
I'll just do it automatically.
I want you to go ahead and roll another intelligence saving throw.
Oh.
As it begins to move forwards, you can tell that you're just rushing through this thing. It begins to hurt more and more as you just take step after step towards it. You take the full amount, which is 14 points of force damage, as you just throw it over itself and it hangs over it. It doesn't seem to be like rash around or thrash around, but it's just there motionlessly. As you have the cloth over it, it's not immediate, but you can tell that the cloth is decaying or basically aging away. It'll take like a hot minute, maybe 2, for it to fully disintegrate.
Okay, this is something we need to get rid of, right?
Seems to be, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm Aster's in the way. I can't see it.
I'm gonna give you a makeshift hallway. Give me 1 second. I want to say a hallway is at least 15 feet, even though that's probably a little too much. Okay. Everyone go ahead and roll turn order. You don't have to fight, but I'm going to say rounds now, so go ahead. Okay, and it's not seemingly acting aggressive, so I'm just going to keep its turn at 0. I'm going to... Do I have haunting fighting music? No, I don't. At least I don't think so. I'm just going to go with a new one, but a classic. Boss Battle Music Hydra. Yoko. Looking at this thing, or at least before it was covered with a shawl or a carpet, you can tell that this thing looks menacing. Just getting near it hurt Aster as if being pained through it. Getting the cloth over it, it seems to also be withering that away. This thing just existing is dangerous, but make of that however you will. What do you do?
I'm gonna try and throw some fire at it.
Okay. With a 21, that definitely does hit. Throwing fire directly towards the thing, it hits it and it causes the cloth to basically burn, no longer unrevealing itself. Aster, you're still fine, at least right now. Hitting the cloth, it does burn in, and it just begins to shriek and yell as if it's in pain. It just shouts out, "Rah!" Now clearly active. Anything else, Yoko?
I'm gonna move a little bit further back.
You'll be like
10
basically
feet
going.
if I can.
You'll be going downstairs at that point.
Oh, and I'll stay where I am.
You can also go
And-
to adjacent rooms, technically. Let me draw those as well. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bathroom. You can go to your room. Actually, this room would probably be closer. To you. Yeah, right there. Man, I am not an architect.
I went to
Okay,
school.
I'll
for that.
step inside it so I'm out of sight of the creature.
Okay. Aster.
This is like another room.
This is another room.
I'm just gonna duck in there and I'm gonna use 15 points of lay on hands.
All right. Rushing out of the area, you begin to heal yourself and sustain yourself. Do you cover your line of sight between it, or do you just
Yeah,
move
like-
enough away?
Like shut the door.
All right. You shut the door, and it seems to be helping.
And I'm also gonna use second.
I heard second, and then it cut out for me.
Second win.
Second
Okay.
wind. Oh, that was weird. Hold on. So I should go D10 plus, not equals. 3. There we go.
Okay. Hitting yourself out of the pain and sensation, just getting clear of this thing. You do help yourself out. Anything else?
That'll be it.
All right. Milo. If it wasn't active before, it is now.
I'm going to. See, I'm trying to look at one of my abilities to make sure. Yeah. I will. First time on each turn, you hit a favorite enemy. Go. I'm going to favor it. So I get an extra D4 on attacks, and
Okay. Like, do you have to know what the thing is? Or do you just like choose?
no, I'm just focusing. It's
Okay,
a.
that's Are you
I
doing
can
the
use
bow
my-
thing or like your thing?
I'm using my thing, and
Okay.
I'm trying to remember: is the bow a action or bonus action to activate that, or is it just part of the attack?
I think it reads like part of the attack.
Hold on, let me look at both bow.
I think you have to choose like when you.
Yeah, when say you can again. No, okay. Say Elvish. When you use the weapon to make a ranged attack, you can use the command phrase. Say swift death to you who have wronged me. The target attack sworn enemy until it dies or until dawn 7 days later. I'm going to use mine to focus. It's part of my favorite foe ability.
Okay.
I'm trying to post it in chat. There. I can use the mystical bonds to favor it. And then I'm going to use the oath bow to actually, and I'm gonna say swift death to you who have wronged me. And meaning I have advantage. I can stay at long range, and if it hits, it takes an extra 3d6 piercing damage.
Sounds
that-
good. So these are terrible stairs, but they're stairs.
3d6. Hold on a second. I'm making sure that the bow, like the first, so okay. I have advantage? So does an 18 hit?
Thankfully enough, you have advantage, so 18 does hit.
All right. It's 9. What? Okay, wow. So 9 plus 5 plus a d4. So 1. So 15 points of damage.
Nodding your bow and shooting it out, you can tell that it pierces into its flesh. Eat bits. As soon as it pierces inside, it shrieks out in a piercing, horrible cry. As soon as it hits the body, you can tell that it took the damage, but the arrow, once piercing in, begins to disintegrate away.
Bonus action. Can I move over here and see Aster in the corner?
No, close the door.
Oh, he closed the door. Well, is this door open?
That, I'm going to say, is the locked door, because I forgot to indicate which room is which room,
Okay.
Unfortunately. So, where Yoko is, crate room. Door to the left, locked door. Door to the middle, bathroom, Aster, bunk beds, and then this is the room that you have yet to explore.
Alright. Let me look at my... see. Okay, so, as if you were concentrating on a spell. Okay, so I have to concentrate on that. I'm going... I can't hold a healing word, can I, as a bonus action? Hold it until I see Aster?
So. You can hold an action, but I don't think you can hold a bonus action.
Okay.
I think you can. I think it just also still uses your action.
I've already used my action to attack.
So yeah.
Yeah, I'm just gonna, I don't have many bonus action things because I can't cast Hunter's Mark because I'm already concentrating on the favorite foe. Yeah, I'm done.
All right. You attack
Sadly,
the thing.
my
Go ahead.
bird is. Sadly, my bird is no longer with us.
I'm so sorry for destroying your bird. Kind of. As soon as it, immediately gets attacked, and like most things, they either run or counterattack. This thing is counterattacking. So it rushes towards the closest thing it saw attacking it, which unfortunately would be Milo and Yoko. As it passes around Aster's room, you get a sickening feeling, Aster. An almost grotesque feeling as if you're about to vomit whatever you have in your stomach. But you don't have sight of it, so nothing happens. This thing barrels directly towards Milo. Milo, I want you to go ahead and roll a intelligence saving throw. As almost primal fear begins to etch near you.
Oh, is it fear?
No, I said primal fear. As if your body is basically afraid of this thing. It's not causing the fear effect. It's just the way I'm describing it.
Yeah, I was just about to say, because I can't be feared.
Yeah. This is more of a instinct of death. So basically, it's not feared. It's more like... best way I can describe it is if this thing becomes or gets close to you within 15 feet, you basically... your brain starts to hurt and to try to comprehend this thing. Primal instinct of fight or flight takes over. That kind of thing. Yoko, is the door closed where you're at?
No, I didn't close it. I just wanted to, get in the room and out of sight.
At this point, then, you'd be able to see it. So, primal fear, Yoko, and Milo. Again, not fear. It's just the way I'm describing it. Yoko, intelligence saving throw. Okay. Yoko, thankfully enough, you only sustain 1d10 point of damage, but you hold steadfast and strong. Milo, unfortunately, with the 13, does not succeed. You sustain 12 points of psychic damage yourself, and you feel as if you need to get away from this thing, or kill this thing, whatever you have to do to stop seeing it. It then reaches out with its hand, and I'm going to have it make a roll it's not very strong, but it's what it does. Milo, go ahead and roll contested, either athletics or acrobatics, to
For what?
not have this thing touch you. It's basically grappling.
Oh, it's trying to grapple me.
Yeah, it has a +2, so it's not that great. Beat an 8.
And 10.
You just barely beat an 8. It tries to go for your shoulder, or try to hold on to you. You're not having that, so you use your bow and begin to pry its hands away and move around. If your bow wasn't magical, you believe it might have disintegrated like the arrow, but thankfully enough it is. And you move around, just not trying to be touched by this thing. Ending its turn. Yoko, immediately you feel a sensation of disgust, of your mind trying to comprehend this thing, but it is not working. What do you do?
Oh, I'm gonna draw my sword and use Blade Song and then try to attack it.
Okay. Thankfully enough, 20 does hit. Bring out your blade and beginning to move about with your new lightning katana. You move about to the point where it stabs in. An electrical current comes through, and you feel this thing just shout out in pain and near death. You do believe it's now considered bloodied, and very much so thankful for that, as it's now closer away from you. What else do you do?
Well, I think that'll be it since I used my bonus action and regular action.
At the end of your turn, I want you to go ahead and roll an intelligence saving throw. Thankfully enough, you did pass, so you need to sustain 1d10. 3 points of force damage, as this thing is still near you, and it's still hurting. Aster.
Come out into the hallway.
As you come out
Take
into
a
the
sec.
hallway, you do see this thing near your companions. You did feel it when it moved around, so that makes sense. You're getting closer to it.
I am. I'm gonna punch it.
Intelligence save before you punch. Unfortunately, not so much, so you do take 2d10. 9. Go ahead and punch. I'm assuming with your new knuckle dusters?
Yeah. Do a shocking.
You take out the shocking one and jab directly towards its abdomen, spine-like area. 25 is definitely enough to hit, as you hear bone cracking. And then you feel your arm just push through, and you pull it back. As you do so, you feel and look down at your hands. It's definitely bleeding. It's definitely closer to death. A couple of good hits like that will definitely bring it down. But when you look down, you see half of a rib cage on your hand, and you quickly remove it from there.
I'm gonna use a maneuver die to. Let's do trip. So it's an extra 4 points of damage.
All right.
And it needs to make a strength save.
It's not very, very strong. It does have a +2, though. 11.
That fails, so it is prone. And you know what? I'm actually gonna smite as well.
Okay. You're more than
Is
welcome
this-
to smite. It just can't technically be prone.
Okay. It still takes the 4 damage.
It still takes the 4 damage.
Is it considered an undead?
How'd you know?
Lucky guess. Also the skull.
Oh, so the skull.
Yeah, that tends to be a good indicator.
And you know what? I'm rolling dice, so I'm going to go ahead and expend that charge of Shocking Grasp. And when I hit, to do 1 more d8. Or, wait, yeah, it's based on me, so 1 more d8.
10, 17, and 23. 22. Dang. Aster, how do you want to bring it down?
Seeing that it's kind of fucking everyone up, I'm like, okay, you know what? And I crack my knuckles and I run up to it and give it this big old Superman punch into the back of the skull as lightning and brilliant flashing light bursts and it just sort of scatters into a pile of bone and dust.
As soon as you do so, you feel an entity or a feeling, sensation, rather, within your mind just releasing. At the exact same time, Yoko and Milo do as well. Whatever this thing is, whatever it was, thank goodness it's gone, or at least perish potentially, as you just smash in the back of its head, causing it to ricochet onto the ground. Whatever was inhabiting this thing, no longer alive, or at least active, it hits the ground with charred remains, both of light and electricity.
I just realized how much Nova damage I can do.
Yeah.
Lots.
Again, with the character that does the most damage out of us all.
That's Paladin. That's
Well,
just Paladin.
I know,
Yeah.
it's funny that it's like last campaign, Ranger, you do the most damage every turn. I'm not complaining, don't get that. And this game, it's like, you still do the most damage.
That's
I'm not complaining. I'm good, I'm not complaining. I just think it's funny that it turned out that way. I mean, I could do a decent amount with, once I get another attack, but...
The part I find funny is that I didn't make Zold to be like high damage. I meant him to be like sort of weird utility.
Yeah, that was kind of our fault.
And then Aster is meant to be more like battlefield control, but you know, sometimes you just gotta kill a motherfucker.
Yeah, I'm more or less, I could probably do more damage when I go into my different forms because of the multi-attack from Beast.
This is a little more poppy than I thought. But yes, thankfully enough, the entity is dead, releasing you guys from whatever it was doing.
And I do feel the release. Do I feel the release of the Oathbow?
Yes.
Okay, so that means it is dead.
Or at least no longer there for now.
Well, I guess we know why they stopped using this place.
Maybe.
I go ahead and I'm gonna do my divine sense.
Surprised you didn't do that before.
No, well, we had to deal with it first before I.
That's fair. That's fair. I mean, like when you were checking out the house downwards.
I didn't know it was haunted.
That's fair. That's fair. Even though I told you there was a cemetery nearby. Looking around
Celestials, phase, fiends, and undead.
Yes.
And consecrated or desecrated ground.
Feeling the energy around you. What distance? Like how far?
60 feet.
Okay, that's definitely the above stairs, easily. And like partially downstairs as well. You examine the area and you feel desecration, demonic fiend energy in the last room where it came out of. Whatever is in there, it is strong. The bathroom is just the bathroom. Next to Yoko, it does seem to have a charge of Fey energy within the crates themselves. In the locked room where Milo is near, there doesn't seem to be anything of Fey, Celestial, or Fiend. It could be other things, but you don't sense those things inside there. And the last room where you were just at, the bunk beds, you do feel not an entity, but like a sigil written in Celestial inside. and you're probably on. I want to say you're probably near this side of the house. So, scanning downwards, you feel more death entities nearby. Not like fiend or celestial, but like similar to the
Undead.
feeling of bones, undead. There might be
So more
more of
like
these things, or maybe spirits or phantoms.
desecrated ground.
Desecrated ground, yeah.
And I let everyone know.
We're not gonna get a good night's sleep, are we?
Not
until
on
we
this
deal
side
with
of
these
the room.
things.
Not here, probably not.
Not here or downstairs this side.
Why don't we take a short rest downstairs and then come back up and deal with that room at the end of the hallway? I think there might be another one in there.
All right. I
That
wonder
sounds
what's in.
like a good idea.
I'm gonna bash the lock in.
You basically slam the doorknob so hard it bends open.
What does the inside look?
Do you open the door? You can.
I
now that the
just
lock's broken.
said, what does the inside look like? So yeah.
Just making sure. You move the door open to, the actual open position, and staring inside, you do see what appears to be. It's weird how I'm gonna describe this, but it's actually directly what I'm trying to quote. Like gold pillars, like obelisks with various symbols, arcane in nature. It doesn't seem to have, like, as mentioned beforehand, Fey, Celestial, Fiend energy around it, but there's clearly something about four golden pillars up to about 5 feet tall.
I'm just gonna slowly close the door. Like, nope, nobody important in here. There's some pillars in that room. Gold pillars.
The language written on it seems to more or less look. I'm sure Milo has seen Primordial before.
I do speak primordial.
There were Primordial sigils engraved into the pillars.
What do they represent?
You just caught a quick glance. If you want to open it again and check it out,
Oh,
go.
look! If I saw something written on them, I would have looked long enough to see if I could understand what they're like the meanings.
Okay. You basically say, yeah, there's gold pillars in here. You quickly open it again. Examining it, you can tell that it's not language, more symbolic in nature. The first pillar represents death. Second pillar represents life. The next pillar represents coil, and the last pillar represents turmoil. If you
Then
had
I'll
to
close
guess,
the door.
they might be used for magical purposes or means. Maybe
I'll close them
ritualistic.
for now.
Okay.
We'll look at it later.
Close. No longer locked.
Wait, I think we should take a rest.
The
Finish
bathroom's
clearing
fine.
Yes,
everything
that
out.
sounds like a very good idea.
Do you go
Yeah.
downstairs to rest, upstairs to rest, bunk
Yeah, well-
bedroom?
Just downstairs. The bearskin room is probably fine.
Okay. How long does the spell last?
His divine sense should be like a few seconds.
Oh,
Divine sense is like
6
instant.
seconds.
Yeah.
for some reason I felt like it was 10 minutes, but yeah. You don't
That's
feel any
a-
malice here.
There's a spell like that too.
He just like pings the area like a radar.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Examining the room, you can tell that chimney's broken, but you can obviously still make a fire. The couches, the chairs are all tattered up as if some cat or an animal, maybe a raccoon, ripped them up. There was a moose head on the wall, a couple of books here, if you want to check them out, a mirror that represents death here, and what are they called? Shelves. Not shelves. Wood
Cabinets?
structure cabinet. Thank you. Couldn't remember the word cabinet. Do you guys just take a short rest here? Long rest? Okay. Go ahead and roll any hit dice you may need.
I'm just rolling 2 because I'm back. That puts me back at full. Or almost full. 1 point away from full.
Mm-hmm. After taking a good hour's rest, you begin to feel a little bit better. Milo, you're pretty close to full. Aster, you're a little hurt, but you can stretch it out. And Yoko, thankfully enough, healed max.
I healed the max too. Wasn't sure if I was going to or not, but yeah.
Aster eventually does stretch it out, in fact. I guess. What do you guys do after the long rest? Short rest, sorry.
I vote Fiend Room, or we can check out the small amount of Fey that I was sensing.
They were in the crates, weren't they?
Yeah.
You pinged 3 crates in there.
I mean, they're not going anywhere, so I say we check out the room you said that had the fiend presence in it.
Very well.
Oh,
I'm gonna check my sword to see if it got like deteriorated from hitting that thing.
Were you using your magical sword or a regular sword?
My magic lightning one.
Like some of the filigree that isn't magical, it just looks cool. It looks old and like it looks like it's about to fall off, but the entire blade itself looks fine. It's just like some of the like if there's like bows on it or things like that that's not magical, that kind of got degraded. But thankfully enough, everything else is fine.
Okay.
Anything cosmetic, basically, in what I'm saying. But you return back to the second story.
Bow drawn again.
Bow drawn again. Thankfully enough, the weird creature that was there no longer moving. Who opens the door? And how close are you guys gonna get?
Fuck you!
Yeah, I'll open the door.
You open the door
Wait,
and it opens.
isn't the door still open?
No.
No, this room wasn't ever opened.
Isn't that the
fiend
room
room
that the
did
beast
open,
came out of?
but when it rushed you, it closed behind it.
Huh? It closed the door?
No.
Like
the
it
force
passing by at high speed closed the door.
Oh, okay. I was confused, sorry.
It's fine. Honestly, you didn't need to back up. I was just freaking you guys out. After you open the door just fine. Opening it, you do see what appears to be a more or less shrine in here. The shrine itself seems to be made out of bone, but not bone of animals like deers and stuff like that, but humanoid bones. You do see like the femur. I don't know if Astra would. I'm going to say he knows enough of humanoid biology. Like the femurs of humans, the horns of tieflings, the head of an orc, and like the bone tails of Yangti. Not Yangti. No, yeah, Yangti. The snake people.
Yanti.
Yangti. I'm still going to mispronounce it, but thank you for clarifying. Inside that weird pillar system seems to also be a book underneath the skull of the orc.
Very carefully going into this room and looking at the book.
Looking at the actual pages that are open before touching it, you can tell that it's written in Infernal if you speak it. Even if you don't, it does also just look evil.
I think I do speak Infernal.
The first page that you do see that it spells out. Man, I said "see" 3 times there. Rise once more. Death follows, mind conceives. The conceiving mind strives to understand, but can never understand in this coil. And that's it for that part. That's before touching or moving or flipping pages, by the way. What do you do? Did you hear any
Let
of that?
everyone know.
Okay, yeah.
I'll just let everyone know that this is some sort of shrine. We could nullify it probably. I could.
That'd probably be good.
It would take about an hour.
How about we do that and then?
Well, let's look.
I thought the
Let's
okay. Hold on a
look
second.
around first to see if there's
Is the
anything more urgent.
bedroom consecrated?
The bedroom has a sigil engraved in Celestial on the bunk bed somewhere.
Back and I'll look at that.
Yeah.
I do read Celestial.
Yeah, same.
Hovering over, looking for that weird symbol that you felt or pinged. Milo and Aster, go ahead and roll perception checks to look for it.
Oh my god. I rolled the natural 21 and I didn't have advantage.
You both did, technically. Examining the area, Aster finds it first, but eventually Milo does as well. You do see a symbol, almost like a two pyramids put together, one inside and one outside, and then you see the exact mirroring image on the reverse of it. This type of symbol does seem to indicate protective ward. So this is a spell basically keeping. Well, basically, it's the spell known as protect from good and evil. If you had to guess, someone eventually figured it out that they were being haunted, but told no one.
So we should sleep in here.
Not a bad idea.
Not a bad idea.
I'm
gonna go look for whatever pinged us Faye in the boxes or the crates.
Rush. You pass by the bathroom. Looking inside, you do see that there are 5 crates in here. 3 of them are Fey in origin, or at least pinged as Fey in origin. All of them are currently closed. Do you pry them open?
Yeah.
All right. You pry the first box open. Do you have like a crowbar? You can use your blade, but it'll take longer.
Yeah. My adventuring pack comes with a crowbar.
Cool. Honestly, the only thing you have to worry about here is the living dead. So, sound kind of maybe doesn't matter. Maybe. You crack it open, and the first box you see inside. Peering inside, you do see a whole bunch of powder. But the powder itself looks pearlescent. Looking and examining it closely, it does look like clear. But when you move away from it, like this is before touching it, you do see that it rainbows in the light. What do you do with it? Or do you just like move on to the next one?
I'll give it to Yuko for identify purposes.
The box itself is 3x3x3, so it's able to be moved. It's just annoying to carry.
Does it look natural?
It looks Fey in origin.
Does it look like Fey natural? Does it look like it's natural or arcanish? Do we get a sense like that?
You can roll nature to discern that, but at first glance, not so much. At second glance, hard to tell, but it maybe looks artificial, or at least it was put into this state.
Okay.
Does the box have any labels or anything on it?
It doesn't, unfortunately.
Darn.
It'd be easier if it did. Right. But the first box was presented to you, Yoko. Aster, do you move on to the second Fey box? gonna assume no. Yoko, do you identify first box?
No, I'd have to ritually cast it.
Okay.
Unless you all don't mind waiting 10 minutes.
Let me pry open all the others and let me see if they're the same before we start doing that.
Okay. Prying over the next box. Again, if sound doesn't matter, and as long as no one's here, it's fine. Prying it open, you peer inside, and immediately you see. How many wood fit in that box? 115 eyes just looking at you. Each eye has not the same iris color. Some of them looks red, blue, green, violet, ultraviolet, and honestly just looks white. White, gold, like all staring at you.
Nope. Close that one.
Just puts the lid back on.
You put it back on. When you see that the shadow envelops the eyes, they go back to like almost like they don't stare at you, but they go maybe inert. It's kind of hard to tell, or at least hard to phrase it properly. They no longer stare at you. Is basically what I'm saying. And then you close the lid. Third box.
Third box.
Coming over to the third box. Pry it open, crack. Again, if people are nearby, they definitely heard that one. Pry it open, and inside you do see. It's weird. It's definitely like not eyeballs, not that weird pearlescent powder, but it does look like sheets of fine green. It's the best way I can describe it. As you look at it, it looks like clothing made out of leaves, but very thin leaves. If you've ever seen rice paper, kind of like that, but green.
Well, at least it's not more eyes.
Could be worse. You don't know.
Well, it looks at least unassuming, so I'll go ahead and let you identify that as well.
There are two other boxes that are not Friggin' Origin, but are closed.
I'll go ahead and open them just for completeness' sake.
Crack one open. There's a whole bunch of. It's not fake currency, but you can clearly tell that you find 200 copper, 100 silver, and yeah, that seems it. 123 gold inside. The first one. Opening the second one. Looking at the coins themselves, it does seem to have like a marker or indication of a fake foreign country or city or anything like that. These are basically fake money. Like the gold is real, the silver is real, but none of the symbolism represents any kingdom nearby. Take that however you will. The symbol on the front end of the coin seems to represent a dragonborn man presented by the. It's not portraits. Staring away like United States currencies, like nickels and dimes. I forget what it's called. Portrait? No, I think it is portrait. Yeah.
Profile?
Profile. Thank you. And the back end of that dragonborn mark seems to be like 3 claws slashed through. But yeah, it's money you can use, but has no connection towards any true kingdom. The last box that has no origin mark on it, you pry open and inside seems to be. It looks like a person, but they're blue and unconscious.
I'll reach in and I'll cast like blue, like they were strangled.
Looking at them a little bit closer, they look almost glowing blue, maybe a little bit teal. I'm just going to show you it since you can technically see them. They look like that, but unconscious.
I'll go ahead and I'll reach in and... They didn't ping as anything, yeah?
They didn't ping as anything.
I'll go ahead and I'll reach in and I'll cure wounds on them.
When you go in to cure wounds them, cure wounds is a touch spell, right?
Yeah.
You go over towards their shoulder and it washes through it. It does not even touch the shoulder. Looking at them now, you can tell that their body is transparent to the point of maybe ghost. And the inlining case of the crate you find seems to have like this weird wood. Examining it a little closer, probably Milo can tell that this is made out of... man, I'm blinking on the name, but basically it's able to contain spirits inside. But it didn't ping as celestial. It didn't ping as fiend. Whatever this thing is neither of those two things. But it is
Do I
undead.
recognize the Like, do I recognize what it is?
Anyone can roll history. Like Milo, you can tell the wood that's the box is made out of. That's easy enough for you. But figuring out what this thing is kind of hard. Except if Aster rolls a natural 20.
My rolls have been pretty good tonight.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
What this thing is technically, Aster, you know that what this thing could be, or at least what could vaguely be connected with, is known as a wandering spirit. Most of the time, wandering spirits are more or less not evil creatures, but creatures that do have a purpose or point to either avenge their death or find out what they died for. Eventually, if they stay out long enough, they do turn a little bit more malice, a little less humanoid than of what they were beforehand. But this creature itself seems to be neither of those things. Whatever it is, it seems to belong in the form it is now. Since it has no connections towards fiend or celestial, whatever this wandering spirit is now, it's always been this. Based off of the information you have, based on the book you found, the haunting, protect from good and evil, the protecting from good and evil would not affect this spirit. It is considered undead. It is not considered good or evil. It's considered a neutral person. This thing is known as, quite literally, a spirit. But a spirit born of the world itself rather than of a dead person. They're very rare, which is probably why the thieves captured it, put it in a box. Yeah.
Now that I'll tip the box out so that it gets out.
That's technically possible because the box itself is what's containing it. So when you move it, the form function of what this thing is rolls out of it, and
falls through the floor.
I was about to say it falls through the floor, but technically it's not conscious. So its form basically sticks to the floor, but like halfway in, halfway out. When you do so, you can tell that it's stirring, maybe rising, but won't wake up for like a little bit longer. Do you like ritualistically cast Identify on stuff here before that?
Yeah, I'll take the opportunity to do that.
Okay. While Aster was doing all of this, Yoko, you identify the first box. Looking at it, you can tell that this is known as Enhancement Spice. It enhances the abilities and components of the individual ingesting it, increasing the abilities and potency of one spell by +2. However, each time you take and ingest this, however way you decide to, it does take out a point of constitution permanently from the individual. So it's very dangerous. That could quite literally kill you. But, you know,
That stuff should probably be packaged up better.
Yeah, probably. Identifying after you tell Yoko about the eyes.
I tell everyone what's in that box that I think it should.
I'm going to say Yoko identifying it without actually having to look at it, because I'm going to say that's fair. Focusing in on the box itself, you do identify residual magic on there. These are known as scrying eyes. However, the scrying eyes are connected to the individual that the eye was removed from and connected to. So if you pick up an eye and basically state the name and the individual that it originates from, you are able to pierce into the other eye without an issue. Often than not, these types of things, I don't know if Yoko knows about thief stuff. Do you?
Thieves?
Yeah. Like thieves,
No, probably
rogues.
not.
You probably can tell, like, at the very least, that these are used for surveillance. And that's all I'm going to give you. But they are magically...
Are the bottles that have the eyes in them labeled or anything?
They're not in bottles. They're all in one box in there.
Oh, so they're all loose.
They're all loose, which makes it even grosser.
Ick.
That's why I said you can do it without actually having to look at them. And then lastly, focusing on the more or less spirit, because that's what it is. You can tell that it is of the natural order of the world itself, born from the world rather than from a mom and a dad. It doesn't seem to be evil or good, but it does seem to have energy from the weave itself, as if born from it exactly, because that's what its originating point is made out of. Often than not, like magic, it chooses to make its own form, whether it be a sorcerer, whether it allows wizards to connect to it, or warlocks to control it. Sometimes the weave just... Because the god of magic is very testing things out and doesn't care if you're good or evil as long as you advance magic, these things kind of happen. But it doesn't seem to be malicious or evil.
Fair enough.
But yeah. When it begins to finalize its stirring and when Yoko tells you or keeps this information to themselves, entirely up to you.
Oh, I'll just share everything.
Yeah, you're talking while you identify. She begins to stir up and rise. Well, not rise, but basically removes half their body from the ground and gets back up. What's going on?
We found you in a box.
What? Looks around and goes, you're not one of them, are you?
I don't know who one of them is, so I'm gonna guess not.
They wore like, she points towards you, but they look like owls. Aster, you don't need to roll for this. This is a crime syndicate within your kingdom's borders known as the Night Owls. They themselves are very dangerous, very cunning and shrewd. Often than not, if people cross them, they seek vengeance. They themselves hold a lot of power and sway within your kingdom because they can sometimes take jobs from certain nobles that need dirty work completed, which allows them access to places here and there. If you had to guess, the Night Owls and the Honeybees were working together within this point to transfer and distribute the contraband that they're transporting. And looks like the Night Owls kind of stole her.
I'll inform everyone else that the Night Owls are a crime syndicate from within the borders of Mauritania.
Okay. But the spirit does look towards you. Can I go? Do you do something? She clearly seems to be in shock.
Are you aware of your condition?
Condition?
You're a spirit.
It's not a condition. It's just what I am.
And you've always been that way.
Yes.
So, what is it you do? I don't imagine you'd be too welcome in towns.
I travel the land making sure that animals and the nature are safe. And the nature. And nature. I'm going to say she's in shock for that fumble. Yeah.
It looks like there may be a lot of work to do around here. Just based on what we've seen on our way here.
How long was I gone?
Yoko shrugs.
If you had to guess, if this spirit is telling the truth and she is helping nature out, helping the animals out, if she was basically the, I want to say, steward of the forest here, she's been gone long enough that things have been going awry here. Spirits coming out from the undead thanks to the fiend book, maybe. Those animals that maybe are a little bit more violent, a little bit more different, makes more sense. Why the thieves ran out after all this happens makes a little bit more sense. If you had to guess, she's this forest's protector. And she can't really do that if she's inside of a box.
I'll tell her what the current year is, if this world has any sort of calendar system.
It does have a calendar, but time means nothing to her. She lives in the forest. Actually, she would probably know after, like, some time just exploring things. Then I've been gone 5 years. No, that's a little too much. 3 months.
Oh, well, that's not as bad as I was expecting.
It also means that it's very bad if she was gone for 5 years. Yeah. But she does look towards you. If you need something, I might be able to help, but I do need to help the land first. Do you guys ask for
I don't
something?
suppose you know where any magical swords are, do you?
The only sword I know is far to the north, near the city of. She didn't say that's me. Near the city of Brudelheim. It's inside of a cave. Astrid, you would know the city because you've obviously looked up things here and there. Brudelheim is a dwarven city mainly. It's where a lot of minerals, byproducts of the mountains themselves, come out and basically where a lot of raw goods come from. Brudelheim itself is led by a dwarven, not lieutenant, but a military individual that basically enforces the laws there. People are not exactly happy, but they have nowhere else to go. Its main populace is dwarves, humans, and Duragar. And Drow.
Well, I can't think of anything else. What about you two?
I'll be honest, I fell asleep there for a second, so I missed the whole introduction on what she is. So
She's basically a spirit manifested from the world itself to take care of the world itself.
Okay.
When Yoko
And she was
asked,
locked up.
Yeah, she was locked up for a couple months, which is a little worrying because if she was locked up for a couple months and this area got that bad, maybe
That
freeing her.
fast.
Yeah, that fast. Maybe freeing her is a good thing. She did mention when Yoko said, "Do you know of any cool magical swords?" She did mention Brutalheim, which is where a lot of raw mountain materials comes from. People don't like to live there, but they kind of don't have a choice.
I guess it's nighttime or sleepy time.
It is sleepy time, yeah. Well, sleepy time for you guys. She's a spirit. You don't know if she's... Well, you do know she sleeps, but that could just be hibernation thanks to being trapped in the box.
I have nothing farther to ask you. I feel bad for your state, but you seem to be making well, so not intrude on it.
She nods a little hesitantly, but she does state, "If you do need help, you may find me at the Druid Circle." She more or less phantasmally crafts, basically prestidigitation, a map of the area and like points at it. There a Druid Circle forms. That's where I'll be, if you do need help. And at this point, she does, in fact, now conscious, fade into the ground to the first floor, and you believe travels to that circle.
I guess we're gonna go get some sleep.
I would like to handle the shrine first.
Then okay.
Yeah, that would probably be a good idea.
Does anyone join Aster in the said shrine removal?
No.
I'll join him just to keep watch over things while he does his work.
Okay, I thought no one would, because I thought Aster would do something instead. But entering inside, Aster, what do you do?
I'm gonna use the spell Ceremony to basically I'm gonna like take all the stuff for this outside and I'm gonna bury it and I'm gonna try and consecrate the ground that I'm burying it in.
Do you touch it with your hands? Like
I'm
all the
gonna have
bones,
to.
the book. Okay. Grabbing the bones, putting them outside. Grabbing the skulls, putting them outside. Grabbing the book, the podium, bringing those last. You are eventually able to bring it all back down. After some time, you do begin to consecrate the area. For a bit, begin to make a hole, and then begin to bury the things and continue on the consecration. As soon as that happens, you feel a charge or a tingling underneath your hands when you begin to bury the things and consecrate the ground. Asher, go ahead and roll 1d20. You feel like the items underneath begin to more or less fight back with you. But thankfully enough, your energy and your ritualistic tendencies of making sure everything's safe, prepared, Yoko also there helping you out, you do feel that eventually it does begin to crack underneath your hands. As soon as that happens, and as soon as you feel the area finally consecrating, it does feel smoother, it does feel clearer, and eventually you do feel like the things underneath your palms are silent and finally resting. After a moment, you do see almost bright, brimming, holy fire underneath the dirt itself, shining light around your face. And then eventually it does quell. It didn't hit you with any like damage. You just felt like some force from you was making sure that it couldn't come back. And then eventually it ceases to exist. No one died.
One die.
Do you go back to the consecrated room and sleep?
Yeah, that's probably the best place.
All right. Yoko, Astra, and Milo. There's plenty of bunk beds to go wherever you want, unless you want to share it. It's probably fine. Moving to a place where you can finally rest for the night, and not get killed. You are able to take a long rest here. Now, who's to say what will happen tomorrow morning? But that will be ruined it. But that will be an adventure for next time, as we end the session for today.